It's me. It's your failed programming error that just refused to be fixed code here. We're back with RetroSpecter. One more time. Presumably the last time. We read so much lore last time around, there's no way we won't finish today. Right? We absolutely should be able to finish reading all the lore. Also, I said I would do some achievement hunting. I didn't. Not yet. I still will, but I didn't do it yet. And I'm sorry. And Dylan, congrats on being first. And hello. How's it going? Hope you're well. But yeah, we're going in. Where was the lore? Actually, it wasn't in there. Gallery and archives, that's the one. Back to the archives. How far did we go when reading? We did this. I think we also did... Yeah, I think we did Make a Roma as well. Yeah, we did her as well. So I think starting with Mizzy, we're into the new territory in terms of lore. Everyone be ready. Mizzy lore time. Let's see what we got. Mizzy, Missourius, is a green-feathered bird student that attends IPU and is 19 years old. He weighs 171 pounds, which is 77 kilograms, and is 7 foot 6 inches, or 2.3 meters. He wears a black and white sweater, along with black and white track pants. The hoodie on Mizzy's is actually part of his head. Didn't we? I think we read this one as well, didn't we? The fact that the hoodie is part of it? Yeah, no, I think we did. And the bullying stuff, right? Yeah, no, we read Mizzy already. Mensation is where we get to the new stuff, I think. There we go. Alright, yeah, this one is new. Mensation is a red-furred goat demon that attends IPU as a student and is 21 years old. She weighs 525 pounds, which is 238 kilograms, and is 8 foot 11 inches, or 2.7 meters tall. She wears a spiked collar and shackles on her wrists, along with a vest and torn shirt/shorts. Mensation hit a growth spurt at a young age, so due to her large, intimidating appearance, most students have avoided her out of fear since she was a child. Mensation utilizes this fear by showing up to the IPU Mansion, a food court shared between the Infernal and Paradise students, and screams as loud as she can to scare everyone away. While this has worked in the past, students and faculty are catching on, and it's harder for Mensation to get away with this action. Since the IPU Mansion is in a neutral zone of the campus, the rules aren't as enforced, so Mensation doesn't get penalized for this behavior, of course. Mensation is fairly poor and doesn't own much on the material side of things. Her dad works 2 minimum wage jobs just to get by and support her education, while her mom disappeared when she was just a baby. Because of this, Mensation isn't very picky when it comes to food or buying things. She just wants to make her dad happy and get by college as best she can. Her grades aren't the best and she may not be the brightest, but it's clear she puts a lot of effort into her work and assignments. She has a hard time making friends due to her low self-confidence and lack of social skills. She hopes to graduate from IPU one day to get a higher paying job and make her dad's life easier. Because Mensation lacked a mother figure, she never really grew up wearing makeup or getting into girly things. She'd eventually become a tomboy and wear boy clothes because they looked cooler to her. Fair enough. Mensation usually doesn't get involved in conflicts unless she is provoked directly. However, there was one exception when she was 10 years old, where she stepped in and spoke up against some kids that were bullying somebody. Let me guess. The favorite bully victim, Mizzy? She hesitated at first, But as she saw the kid being beaten, crying and screaming, her instincts took over. She stepped in between the kid and the bullies and screamed as loud as she could at them, causing them to flee out of fear for their life. After they ran away, Mensation propped the kid up, brushed him off, and gave him a lunchbox's ice pack for his injuries. The kid was a green-feathered nerd who now also attends IPU, Mizzy, Missourius. As the years went by, Mizzy introduced Mensation to many things like Mock-It Monsters, a video game where you catch copies of various creatures and make them battle. This helped Mensation come out of her shell and slowly talk to other students at IPU. Wow! Look at that! Mizzy actually being a good guy. Also, hi Neon, you focus on your stream for the time being. But thanks for being here. Mensation started recently working out once a week with Metro and Terrace. Despite not being on the football team, she enjoys the exercise and it helps her feel better about herself. Other times, Mensation will hang out with Maku and ask for girl advice on how to be a proper lady when she needs to be. Mensation despises Highness, though, due to her scams and irresponsibleness with money. Her dad was the victim of one of Highness's family money schemes, which set them back months and ruined their plans to go on a cheap, casual father-daughter vacation together. Mensation also gets very defensive when Metro picks on Mizzy, due to her and Mizzy's past. She tries to learn what she can from Mizzy, but sometimes Mizzy gets a bit too into the topic he's discussing, so she loses interest. When Mensation gets very hungry, she ends up losing more intelligence. This can cause her to slur her words, or make her talk funny and even misremember things like who she's talking to or what she's doing. This doesn't happen often and isn't really a health concern, more so a quirk that she's had since she was a baby. Her favorite food is the 40-pounder with extra goat cheese at McDemon's. If she can get one by screaming the crowd away in terror, she tries to save up enough money to buy it when she can afford it. She earns a small amount of money by helping her dad at one of his jobs, otherwise she's trading what little she has left in her old room to students across the campus so she can afford her favorite meal every once in a while. Haha, she's poor! That's what I got out of that story. Nah, I know there's more to it. Also, the goat demon appreciates goat cheese. I see. Very interesting, isn't it? Alright. Highness. Interesting that this is Highness's page, but Terrace is the one in the front. Highness, Mime, is a bee-demon student that attends IPU. She's 22 years old and weighs 152 pounds, which is 69, nice, kilograms, and is 7 foot 11 inches, or 2.4 meters. She wears a black and purple dress and has a purse used to store her money and makeup, and a whistle to summon her bodyguard. Highness has wings that can be used to fly, but she rarely does this since her bodyguard carries her over disproportionately small gaps instead. Her purple wings naturally glitter in the sunlight, and many students find her to be very attractive. However, that attractiveness quickly fades away once Highness's personality is revealed. She's extremely snobby and snarky, and will judge anyone who dares to approach her unless it's during her business hours. Highness wants the entire campus, faculty included, to notice her so she can become a big shot one day. A big shot, you say? Gabe, thanks for the raid. Thank you, appreciate it. Happy to know you got Durin. Happy to know you got him. Yes, Durin have a raid, indeed. Indeed. I am personally not pulling for him, but I will be saving up for other characters. Again, the 3 characters I know I want to pull for when/if they come out are Columbina, Alice, and the Tsaritsa. Those 3 are definitely on my list. Not sure who else is gonna get included. The Tsaritsa only because I want all the Archons. I'm not sure if I would actually like her as a character, but I just want the Archons, so... yeah. Anyway, I was just talking about Highness becoming a big shot. So let's see what is up, shall we? and star on movies, TV shows, and magazines. On top of inheriting a lot of money from her family, she constantly desires more, going so far as to run various scams across the IPU campus. While it's against the rules to scam a student directly at IPU, her scams operate outside of the campus, so the faculty can't do much about it. Even if they wanted to, her family helped pay for the construction of the IPU buildings, so she cannot be touched. Her grades aren't great, but she doesn't care. She'll graduate anyway because of nepotism. Despite Highness having a nice singing voice and attractive looks, she's too stubborn to join after-school activities like choir or cheerleading, as she feels they are a waste of valuable time. Highness finds most food at IPU disgusting and usually avoids eating if she can. Sometimes she'll persuade a newer student to give her their lunch, only to sell it to someone like Mensation for a profit. Wow. Gotta go shuffle. You do that, appreciate the lurk, and once again, thanks for the raid. Highness has two sisters that are older than her. One of those sisters is Makuroma, the campus's cheerleader captain. Highness gets extremely jealous of how much more popular Maku is than her and does not see her as family. Highness' parents took Maku in when they realized having a family with more species diversity could make their business look better on headlines and increase profits. While Highness used to be pampered like a queen at a younger age, her parents eventually turned their focus to Maku to make sure Maku felt welcome and happy in the family. The parents ended up neglecting Highness so much after taking Maku in that they grabbed a random guard from their household to enroll into IPU and be Highness' bodyguard on campus. That bodyguard is a giant grey bee named Terrace. Terrace is Highness' hired bodyguard as well as another student that attends IPU. He weighs 343 pounds, which is 155.5 kilograms, and is 9 foot 9 inches or 3 meters. He is one of the most popular students at IPU and is the star running back for the Team Infernal football team. He's good friends with Metro and they work out together constantly. Terrace acts a bit different in the rare times he's not around Highness. He seems more relaxed and chill when he knows she's in a safe space and can be himself. Okay. When he is around Highness, however, he is extremely serious and strict. When he was given the task to guard Highness with his life at IPU, he made an oath to always be there for her no matter what, when and where. All she needs to do is blow the whistle she has, and he will be there in less than a few seconds. Contrary to some students' beliefs, Terrace is not infatuated by Hive Mind, nor does he idolize her. And now we're bringing Hive Mind into this instead of Mive Mind? Okay, so my Highness's or Mive Mind's lore page has definitely... I noticed 2 inconsistencies in this. Like, I rarely notice inconsistencies here, but there's 2 in this single lore page. First of all, here, when he knows she's in a safe space and can be himself, that feels weird. I think that's supposed to be he's in a safe space and can be himself. And then there's this part here, where it mentions Hive Mind instead of Mive Mind. They're different characters. Anyway, he's extremely diligent in the job his masters have tasked upon him. Sometimes he's so diligent that he'll show up while Highness is brushing her fuzz or taking a shower, offering anything he can to help her out. Most of the time, Highness gets extremely annoyed by Terrace and how clingy he is. But she does like the fact that she has a minion at her beck and call 24/7 to help her scam students, do her homework, or whatever else she wants. While she doesn't show it publicly, she does appreciate him as a guard, and is the closest thing to a friend she has at the campus. Together, they share an interesting relationship compared to any of the other students at IPU. Alright. On to Motion, the Dean. Motion, Matrius, is the Dean of the Infernal Wing at Infernal Paradise University. Also, hello, else, is that an L or an I? Ik Karmi? Or LCK Karmi? I'm just gonna say Karmi. Hello, how's it going? Hope you're well. Welcome to a lot of lore reading. Because, oh god, I didn't think there would be so much reading in this. Anyway, and he is 45 years old. Oh, see, the thing is, I've played a few FNF Roblox thingies, and I've hated every single one of them. Every time I tried an FNF Roblox clone, I just hated the control. It just felt so off. So I haven't really touched any FNF Roblox clones in a long time, just because every single one I've touched sucked so much, in my opinion. At least for me personally, it sucked to play. I don't know. Maybe it's a weird me issue. He weighs 1,040 pounds, which is 472 kilograms, and is 10 foot 4 inches, or 3.1 meters tall. Unlike most traditional colleges, IPU consists of 2 deans instead of 1. One for the Infernal Wing and one for the Paradise Wing. These 2 deans communicate with one another along with other higher-ups to discuss any news or ongoing issues that are happening across the campus. Deans are allowed to communicate directly to one another in case of emergencies relating to the other wing students. Despite being of higher authority, deans must still follow faculty rules, or they will get penalized by superintendent. Ah, yes. Monday morning misery, please, bro. No need to beg. I don't play Roblox at all. Well, it's not at all, but I haven't played Roblox in at least half a year. I barely touch that game. I touch it like... I boot up Roblox like maybe once or twice every few months, and that's about it. I know there's a lot of content on there, but... I'd rather avoid. Unless there's something I really desperately need. I'm sorry. Motion wears a full business suit, even down to the shoes. Well, see, the thing is, I am very busy with this mod right now. I'm not sure if I have a lot of time to spare for 1v1s, because I'm not sure how long this whole lore reading thing will take. I don't know if you've played versus RetroSpecter Part 2 and checked the lore, but there is a lot to it. Even without the lore, just finishing all the main and side story content took me 23 hours of playtime. And now we have lore to read as well. So, again, I feel like this will take up most of my stream, so I'm not sure if I have too much time to spare on stuff like 1v1ing people. He's one of the few faculty/students at IPU that have footwear. Some students have reported that they've seen things slither out from underneath the suit when being close enough to Motion while being lectured in his office. Because of this, it is rumored that Motion is hiding some deformation underneath his clothing. No one is brave enough or cares enough to ask him directly, however. So it remains a mystery as to what is hiding underneath his suit. An anomaly that is visible, however, is the talking antenna protruding from Motion's forehead, labeled by the students as the cooler Motion. Motion's antenna is there to talk sense into Motion when he goes too far or gets too brave with his choices. Interesting. Unlike Mosey, who has been at IPU for centuries, Motion has only been at IPU for a few years. He became dean after the previous one mysteriously vanished. No one knows where the previous dean went, and there are no traces of him besides the leftover prize trophies that still adorn the cabinets inside Motion's office. While the giant self-portrait showcases Motion, people have noticed some blemishes around the edging of the frame, showcasing a quick and shorty picture replacement of previous dean's portrait. It is against the rules to ask about the previous Infernal Dean, and any student doing so will be immediately expelled. Wow, that seems strict. Motion grew up near the Minfernal coastline, far east of the IPU campus. When he was a child, his parents ditched him in the infernal city. Motion tried looking around, but no matter how hard he looked, he couldn't find or figure out his way back home. He spent years foraging and stealing off the streets to finally gather enough funds and information to find his address. When he showed up, everything was in shambles. As he slowly walked through his house, calling for his mom and dad, he made it to their bedroom. The sight he saw would change him forever. The decaying carcasses of his parents, with their intestines hung up on the wall, spelling, "Smite all loan sharks," along with some traces of angel feathers strewn across the floor and furniture. Since then, Motion has had a deep malice and hatred towards angels that can't be matched by even the worst of demons. Did not expect Motion, this massive asshole, to actually have a tragic backstory. After the horrifying event, Motion would go back to living in the city streets for years, stealing, murdering, and having his way with the stray angels that would walk down the alley he lived in. One day, he saw a very large and tall figure walking through the alley. The pure white skin almost radiating in the darkness made him think it was an angel. Despite her size, he felt he had nothing to lose, so he leapt straight for the woman's neck. He got a bite in before he was quickly pulled away and met with a massive glare that shook him to his core. He thought this would be the end for him and was ready to accept his fate. But the tall lady ended up being very impressed that he could even touch her. This lady was superintendent of IPU, Might Flayed. So she's white instead of black because her icon is white. I did notice that her default icon is white, like her health bar icon. Interesting. Alright, Mosey. Mosey is one of the oldest teachers that still work at IPU. He weighs 621 pounds, which is 282 kilograms, and is 11 foot 7 inches or 3.5 meters. He is 404 years old, get it, 404, haha funny, and has worked at IPU for almost 200 years. In his younger years, he wanted to become a teacher, so he enrolled in IPU. Back then, IPU wasn't looking for teachers, so once he graduated, he decided to become a security guard for the Infernal Wing. After centuries passed, a teaching position opened up and he finally got his dream job. He teaches Malculus, which is a complicated map system mixing demon magic with literature and history. A professional Malculus expert can learn the toughest of magic and spells with the right coordinates and blueprints. Mosey is fairly upbeat and friendly for his age. Due to an issue in his health, he must constantly drink a special type of beverage called Java oil. This oil blend mixes caffeine with synthetic petroleum that he must drink on a daily basis. I mean, yeah. Constantly drink on a daily basis. Basically, you could have just summarized that in one. It is an unfortunate side effect that comes with his age and demon machines. He has been known to forget to drink this in the middle of class a few times, and due to IP regulations, the students have to sit there and wait for the class period to end. The higher-ups have no plans to fire Mosey at the moment due to how much he excels in his teaching abilities, but it is a concern some have brought up the more times this has happened over the years. Mosey is constantly propelling himself upright with his rocket engine. The fire that emits from this engine is non-damaging to surfaces, flora, and fauna. The engine was installed by his creator centuries ago, as they felt legs would make their creation too slow and wanted something more efficient. They decided to fit him with a rocket engine and, through raw science mixed with some demon magic, permanently enchanted. This would make it so that it uses sufficient oxygen from the outside world, as it constantly cycles throughout his body as a fuel source. As centuries passed, however, this magic started to wear off, and is primarily the reason Mosey drinks Java oil to keep himself constantly activated. If he shuts off, oxygen will stop cycling throughout his body, and he may never be able to turn on again without the assistance of his creator. There we go. And I guess it's called an experience. Thanks for that correction there, Neon. Mosey wears a blue necktie due to the IPU dress code. The nameplate he wears on his chest isn't required, however. It's just something he's been wearing since he became a teacher at IPU that he proudly wears 24/7. Mosey has a stockpile of blue neckties in his closet back at his home, and ensures that each one is clean and tidy. Most don't even know he has multiple ties, as it looks the exact same every time he shows up, down to the exact wrinkle and crease. Mosey also carries an extra cup of Java oil in his chest in case of emergencies. When Mosey isn't falling asleep, he's extremely active and helpful. This makes Diligence, a teacher from the Paradise Wing, a bit jealous, and is always trying to one-up Mosey when she sees him. Mosey might be sloth, but that doesn't mean he can't be a shining example of what it means to be one of the best teachers IPU has ever had. When Mosey isn't teaching, he helps around IPU as much as possible. Man, he really is diligent, isn't he? As opposed to Diligence. He commentates at sports events, contributes to clubs, and still helps enforce the rules at the academy when he is able. In the rare times he isn't on campus, he is in the city purchasing and stockpiling as much Java oil as he can, in the case the market ever stops selling this stuff. While there is a bit of fear in the back of Mosey's mind that he may eventually shut up forever one day, he's confident it won't happen for a long time, and he hopes to find some sign or indicator that his creator left behind to get a solution before that happens. He tries to keep a chipper and positive attitude when he can, despite knowing his time left may not last much longer. What do you mean, may not last much longer? He just said it won't happen for a long time. Mace! Mace is a light blue Naga demon that is a student at IPU. He's 19 years old, weighs 350 pounds, which is 159 kilograms, and is 7 foot 8 inches or 2.34 meters. When standing. When stretched out from head to tail, he is 15 foot 4 inches or 4.67 meters. Mace is covered in soft fur and wears a red bandana, shirt, and jacket. He has black markings and fur that run all the way down his tail. Due to the lack of Nagas around the area, there is nowhere nearby that sells special pants for his lower half. Mace is a fairly shy student, but gets along well with his close friends and partners. He's very empathetic and willing to listen to anyone's problems they have. Well, ain't he nice? On his first day at IPU, Mace showed up with nothing but his red bandana that was given to him as a child by his mother. It was normal for his species not to wear any clothes. However, when he, I assume that means when arrived at the campus for the first time, he saw that everyone else was wearing clothes. Even the demons, who are usually a lot more lax when it comes to college rules, were wearing clothes. He quickly realized there was a dress code for demons as well, and missed the memo. Before he could be seen, he quickly slithered to the nearest clothes shop and bought a shirt and jacket. This was enough for the demon side of the IPU dress code. Since IPU has angels, it is unholy to see demons completely naked in the flesh for them. This code acts as a sort of middle ground between the Infernal and Paradise wings of the university, and was a rule established when IPU was first built. A few months after enrolling, Mace eventually joined the photo club. He always had a fascination for anything tech-related, but cameras and photography were his favorite, his mom gifting him his very first camera along with his bandana when he was little. One day, he was tasked by the club to take photos of the football team during practice, and became so engrossed in picture-taking that he ended up getting closer and closer to the football players and cheerleaders on the field for better shots. Unfortunately, got so close that a football Hail Married across the field right into his camera, shattering it into pieces. The culprit was Metro, who didn't seem too bothered by what he accidentally did. Maku made him walk up to Mace and apologize for breaking Mace's camera. Mace was very upset, but forgave Metro and thanked him for the apology. A few weeks after this, Metro and Maku would pool together what little money they had, and went to Mace's dorm room with a gift. They knocked on his door and gave him the gift. Confused, Mace opened it, and was astonished to find out it was the exact copy of the camera he had been given by his mother when he was a kid. Mace teared up and thanked Metro and Maku both. This would form a friendship between the three of them. Months later, Mace started developing feelings for both of them and asked them to join a polyamorous relationship. Maku and Metro were both confused at first, but after Mace explained it to them, they liked the idea, and a three-way poly relationship between them was formed. If only it were that easy. I don't know, I feel like polygamy is, in modern society is generally a bit frowned upon still by most people. Since then, Mace's confidence has been higher. He talks more, socializes with others he never thought he would, and feels part of the IPU family. He still has many years before graduation, but things appear to be doing well in terms of his education and his future. He hopes to one day become a professional photographer and wants to use his skills to shoot pictures with Maku and Metro modeling to spearhead his own possible business. His mother couldn't be more proud of his accomplishments in the year and a half he's been at IPU. Unfortunately, Mace has a secret he hasn't told Metro or Marco yet, and is afraid to reveal his truth. And I think that truth is related to the next page? Yup. I assume it's related to macellation. Macellation, or minus isolation, is Mace's second form. He weighs 500 pounds, which is 227 kilograms, and is 10 foot 4 inches. Why do they use this notation this time instead of using foot and inches? Like, instead of using FT and IN, this time they use this notation. Why? Why change it? Why change it randomly? Anyway, 3.1 meters. When stretched out from head to tail, he is 20 foot 8 inches, or 6.3 meters. It's even inconsistent in this. Here they use this notation, and then in the next line they use this kind of notation. Stick to one of the two. If you use FTIN, then don't use the apostrophe up here. Please, I don't like inconsistencies like this. It feels weird. This form is caused by too much stress and pressure taking control of Mace, especially when he's having a difficult time focusing on a task that needs to get done in a short amount of time. He has been known to shift to this form a few times before major tests or final exams as Infernal Paradise University in private. When consuming the drug called Green Machine, it's been known to enhance this form, causing even further increases in intelligence and heightened sense of focus. However, this does negatively affect his health, both mentally and physically, after the Green Machine wears off. When this form, macellation, covers everything in a 3.5 meter radius around him in a thick sheet of ice. This can cause damage to his room and the furniture inside of it. He has a special laptop that resists excessive ice and frost for times like these. Approaching macellation while he is severely stressed is not recommended, as it can instantly freeze the person that approaches him. Due to macellation's body heat and thick fur, this does not affect macellation himself. He also wears a thick hoodie in this form to provide himself with extra warmth. Similar to Mace, macellation retains his Naga body. He has trouble moving around in this form due to the ice constantly forming around him, so he usually stays in one spot until it's over. Macellation also has eyes with black sclera and glowing white pupils. Macellation retains all sentience in this form and is technically even smarter than Mace, but unlike Mace, macellation is even more easily startled, so it's not recommended to sneak up on him in this form, unless that person wants to be frozen forever. Macellation's parents know about this form, due to Macellation's mother having a similar issue. They tried their hardest to teach him that it isn't a good form to show in case it scares people away. One night he showed Metro and Marco on the IPU roof, thinking they would dislike what he became. Metro was shocked by the giant muscles Mace suddenly got, and Marco immediately went to touch his fluff, and instantly froze. Metro had to throw her out of his body heat. Shame. After seeing his partner's reactions, Mace realized that this form wasn't as scary to others as his parents claimed it would be. Macellation is a soft giant, and he hopes he can show this form to the rest of his friends someday. He's worried that they'll think of him, what they'll think of him, and wants to be 100% prepared before showing it. He also hopes he can eventually control it better and use it for its heightened strength with enough training. Metro has attempted to train Mace in this form a couple of times, but it's something that will need to be handled by a professional if he is to properly improve and control this form better. Perhaps a certain Yeti from a different dimension can offer him advice one day if they ever meet. A certain Yeti from a different dimension. There's no way they mean isolation, right? I don't think isolation would be considered a Yeti, right? Right? Oh well. Miles! And there's Biles! Miles, formerly named as Wakwa before adoption, is a five-year-old tuxedo cat born in Dallas, Texas. He weighs 14 pounds, which is 6.3 kilograms, and is 1 foot 8 inches or 0.5 meters tall. Miles has a sweet but overly playful personality. When he was a kitten being adopted, he immediately ran up to Kamix's sandals and started biting his toes. Kamix and Retro both noticed he was the only kitten to do this. So they immediately knew he was the one for them and adopted him from his shelter. While Miles has the average patterns of a normal tuxedo cat, he is slightly more unique in the sense that he has a black splotch under his chin, which looks like an uneven beard. Miles also has a bit of an overbite, causing his upper fangs to constantly be out slightly, even when his mouth is completely closed. Sounds adorable. Shortly after adopting Miles at the age of a month and a half, he began doing standard kitten things, climbing their clothes, trying to eat things he shouldn't, and stalking their feet, attacking them as they casually walked by him. Miles wore a collar as a kitten for quite some time, with a little bell on it, so Retro and Kamix could know where he was, but he'd always find a way to take his collar off because he didn't like it. One day he was playing with a toy wand, and somehow wrapped his collar around it, almost choking himself to death. From that day forward, Retro and Kamix decided to never put a collar on him again, and he has been a naked indoor kitty ever since. Oh my god, I'm so glad little Miles survived, but wow. Well, that could have ended badly. Because Miles is overly playful, Retro and Kamix wanted to get him a friend. About 8 months after adopting him, they decided to try and get him a playmate. This playmate would be named Mia, who was a sweet girl kitty. Despite them both being neutered and spayed, Miles was extremely territorial and played way too hard to the point of hurting Mia. Retro and Kamix unfortunately had to give Mia away to a friend. It was realized at that moment that Miles was a solo cat, and that Kamix and Retro would have to make more time for him to play with him instead of getting another cat to do the job. Like most young cats, once Miles at 2 years old, he eventually mellowed out and gained some pounds. He is a fairly chill cat, though he is known to get the zoomies every once in a while. He growls like a dog whenever someone knocks on the door or rings the doorbell, and will meow in response to Retro and Kamix going, "What?" Despite Miles being male, he has a very soft, high-pitched meow used to guilt-trip Retro and Kamix into giving him attention. It works 99% of the time. Miles has also traveled from Texas all the way to Florida in a giant U-Haul truck. He would sleep underneath the gas pedal at rest stops between locations. Miles' name comes from a few different series, one being Miles Tails Prower, the orange two-tailed fox from Sonic the Hedgehog series, another from Miles Morales, Spider-Man's successor in the Spider-Man series. The last one, which Kamix denies, comes from Desmond Miles, the main protagonist from the first few Assassin's Creed games' present-day timeline. All of these come together to form Miles' full name. Is that supposed to be Desmond? Because that says Demon. I guess it's gonna be Demon. Demon Miles Morales Prower, the ultimate gamer cat. Miles is also slightly homophobic due to being around two dudes all the time locked inside a house. In an alternate universe, Miles has a demon form named Miles. This form is 3 times larger than Miles and acts as a guard cat for the RAF Ramparts alongside Retro. Retro uses him to attack raiders and others attempting to trespass the gates. Miles can spit acid far more dangerous and potent than Retro, and the acid will instantly disintegrate anything it touches, even past the bone. The crystals on Miles give him the energy he needs to perform his actions, and he feeds upon them around the wastelands outside the RAF Ramparts when he's hungry. At full energy, Miles' crystals will glow, and he is known to sprint up to 210 miles per hour, which is 338 kilometers per hour. While Miles sounds like he'd be an excellent scout for the RAF Ramparts, he is known to disobey orders from Retro and wander off randomly sometimes. Because of this, he's more of a pet instead of an employee. Like Crimstalkers, Miles is a feral animal with no human-like traits or personalities, and acts much like how tigers in the real world do. He's loved by Retro's family and visits them sometimes. He tends to listen to War the most, however. Miles also brings demon carcasses to his family in hopes of being rewarded for a job well done. Nice. Raccoon. Raccoon is a duo-element mineral surface market monster introduced in the Singular era. Ah, it's a Gen 1. It evolves into Sanddirt starting at level 388, which evolves into Spherock when exchanged or exposed to balls. In Lamua, Raccoon has a duo element Mineral Zappy regional form. It's totally not Geodude, trust. It evolves into Lamauan Sanddirt, starting at level 388, which evolves into Lamauan Spherock when traded. These Raccoon can also be found in CodeErr Atrium. Raccoon is a brownish-gray rockstone Pokémon. It has bulging, rocky eyebrows, half-oval yellow eyes with black pupils, and a wide mouth. Its legs are muscular with three-toed, stinky feet. Very important detail that they're stinky. Raccoon uses its feet to climb steadily up steep mountain paths. As a result of their physical appearance, Canhadens sometimes mistake this Pokémon for actual stones and fire them through their cans. Canhadens, aha. Raccoon is ashamed of its disgusting body and will bash against others of its kind in a contest of sorts to try and kill themselves. It will even go as far as to compare itself with other species such as Fartoot and Pissing. The longer it lives, the more chipped and worn its body becomes. Long-lived Raccoon are completely sexy and anthro, and they have massive, desirable bodies. However, Raccoon's shard remains rugged and tough no matter what. What is this lore? Raccoon can be most often found under matching towers, with a scholar counting about 10,000 of them under just one tower. It will sit still under these areas, which is why it is often mistaken for a cave system. It is often stepped on and will sometimes swing its feet in anger when this occurs. When Raccoon sleeps deeply, it buries itself and dies. Once buried, it's dead. In the morning, it's still dead. Raccoon has a sectional form? Lamauan Raccoon. In the Lamauan section, Raccoon is made from a repulsive ore with a more silvery appearance. These are areas on Lamauan Raccoon's body that are especially repulsive and detract any matches from even considering dating them. This creates the appearance of bloodshot eyes and an emo hairstyle. Its toes are fused together, leaving its big toe and pinky toe free to wiggle around cutely. Why? Stepping on Lamauan Raccoon results in excessive vomiting and sometimes an angry suicide. Like regular Raccoon, it competes with others by bashing their balls together. The repulsive ore repels the Raccoons even further apart from one another. The Lamauan Spherock will fire these Raccoon from its anus if real Raccoon are absent. They can also be found in the canyon Gayome of CodeErr's Atrium, where Lamauan Island's life is simulated. Lamauan Raccoon and its evolved forms are the only known Pokémon that can have Galvanize as a trade. This is the weirdest knockoff Pokemon thing I have read in a while. Perfect. Thank you, Raccoon. Felipe! Felipe is an asshole! Now this is lore. Chat, can we agree this is the best lore of the bunch? It doesn't get better than this. It's just so... There's just so much to dig into here. Like, none of the other lore compares to the in-depth analysis we get on Felipe. But there's more to Felipe. Ever wonder why I would do... Ever wonder what I would do to your right pinky toe? I take it out to a night at Olive Garden, but then only get the breadsticks, since that'd be a little expensive if we got more than just that. As you take a bite out of the breadstick, I'll slowly reach down towards your hamstring and give you a ham steak to saute that big boy. Afterwards, they'll head home and I'll slowly lie you down onto the cold tile floor and slide you across it like a cat on a towel. It's pretty fun. Anyways, once I slide you into the room like a cute kitty, I'll slither on top of you and pull a breadstick out of my chest stuff. Remember this breadstick? It's the one we got from Olive Garden. I'll slowly put it in your mouth and tell you to eat it. Because that's all we got till Tuesday, bitch. Now this is romance. Jesus. Jesus, Felipe. Okay, but what is this? Anyway, let's check the gallery. An order ref sheet for RetroSpecter I commissioned. He was originally my YouTube mascot, but slowly turned into my internet persona as the years went by. Since I don't show myself in real life online, I needed something to represent me in videos, art, etc. His caliper was based off my Spartan in the Halo series, and his horn/tail claw are inspired by Charizard/Yveltal. Please keep in mind some of the trivia may be irrelevant or out of date. Refer to the archives for more accurate and up-to-date lore/information. I'm pissed. A silly doodle our main P1 sprite artist made during Part 1's development that accurately describes P1's plot. It is accurate, isn't it? Oh god, he looks so naked. Fan art concept for Retro's Phase 1 FNF pose. I liked this so much at the time that I hired the artist to work on the team for a bit, who would help contribute to Retro V1 sprite concepts. He looks so naked here. Snick. Retro's design over the years. Originally, he was a fusion of my two favorite Pokemon at the time, 2011 Quilava and Superior. His name, Zack, comes from Kaz, but backwards, which is what my roommate Sona was named at the time. In 2012, I made him into a worm, based off my Minecraft base at the time, that had a white snake with similar colors wrapping around my obsidian fortress. Then in 2013, I made him a Hydra with an angry head, a neutral head, and a chill head. This is partly the inspiration for where one of Retro's faces comes from. The Hydra was eventually scrapped because it was too much work for our Let's Player artist to make thumbnails for 3 different heads per thumbnail. So, in 2015, we made him a single snake-like entity with slight transparency. I felt like he was too bald, so I added hair and more markings to him a year later. Then, in 2017, I decided to make him Anthro. From that point on, the rest is basically history. I see. Pose concept, sketch concepts for Retro's V2 sprites in Part 2. The team felt his original poses were a bit too scrawny for him and didn't really fit his personality/lore, so we beefed up his anatomy a bit. We felt this change translated better to his second phase. Retro was never really meant to be skinnier looking in the first place. This happened due to different artists slowly changing his anatomy through their art styles the more he was drawn over the years. The icons! Sketch concept for Retro's V2 health bar icon. Since Retro got an updated look, it made sense to rework his icons as well. I'm already pissing. Lineup for Retro V2's original angry portrait. This was before the hands were added. Berserker Retro's left directional sprite concept art. We wanted him to be more monster-like and intimidating, so we put his hand back, ready to attack. Another concept for Retro V2. We want to convey Retro's annoyance through dynamic poses, since he's the opposite of the virtue of patience. He gets annoyed quickly, which is why he interrupts BF by saying enough, and his poses change into what you see here. Nice. And here we have all the pose concepts. Heh, dork. Retro V1's pre-enough sprites. I wanted to have him appear chill but annoyed, which is why he has his arms crossed. One of the benefits of a character having a tail claw is that he can maintain his body language while giving the third hand something different to do. I personally think it's a really underused design quirk that more people should try out. Retro's V2 pre-enough sketch concept. One of the downsides of redoing Retro V1 sprites is the fact that we had to remake everything. This includes the pre-enough expressions, the post-enough expressions / poses, his dialogue portraits, and the worst of all, redoing half of his frame-by-frame Zercher transformation animation to blend in with the updated sprites. Ooh, I can imagine that being annoying. Thumbnail art for part 1's release. This same artist also designed Mixter as an adoptable. Oh, nice. Retro V2's I'm Already Pissed new dialogue portrait concept. While the first one was good, I wanted something that felt a little more angrier looking to complement his updated poses. Since he is the embodiment of wrath, he should appear as threatening as possible. What is this? A what-if concept doodle of Retro if he was the virtue of patience. Huh. Interesting. Not really mod-related, just a cool piece of art I commissioned around the time of vs. Retro Part 1 thumbnail by the same artist. Ah. Okay, just a nice addition. Loading screen artwork in progress for vs. Retro Part 1. I wanted a really cool dynamic shot since people would be seeing this a lot in between songs. Multiple concepts of different angles were sent. I decided on this one in the end. Nice. Neo! Though technically not mod related, this was a concept for what RetroSpecter could look like in the FNF Neo mod that Bones made in her free time. I was always a fan of mixing OCs with other universes, which is a big reason why IPU, my FNF-inspired college AU exists. Which once again makes me wonder, will Neo ever get continued? It never got officially cancelled, but it's been 4 years without any news about continuations. Updated Retro V2's idle sprite sketch concept. I wasn't satisfied with his original build and wanted something bulkier to better resemble the other faces he transforms into. Not mod related, just some expression practice on Retro Phase 1 drawn by one of our concept artists. Nice. Last? Why though? A fan-made concept of what Retro could look like if he was last. No, I didn't ask for this. The design is pretty old, and the artists that drew it said they would like to update this design someday, since they are no longer a fan of the design. I see. Look at this combo. Loading screen art used in the 1.5 IPU update. The art from this artist was not requested or commissioned. It was fan art I saw right before 1.5's release and asked if we could use them for 1.5 since I loved them so much. Aww, that's nice. Somebody gonna die tonight. Out of fun. Just a silly what-if doodle of Raph Retro X Patience Retro. Amazing. Loading screen art used in the 1.5 IPU update. It's very cool to see Retro with his hoodie up. Out of the thousands of different times Retro has been drawn in fan art over the past 10 years, I've only ever seen art of him with his hoodie up twice. Whoop. That went too far. There we go. Alright, more characters. Plasma is a neutral portrait before we realized it wouldn't really be fitting for her to wear something like this while on duty scouting for Retro, so we switched her into leather armor. The striped shirt comes from a 3D modeler that gave her clothes when I commissioned a 3D model of her. Alright. Sketch concept for Retro's unlockable companion, GF sprite. What's funny about Retro crossing his legs like this is I barely ever do this in real life. I'm more of a rest my ankle on my other knee type of guy. But it's still a cool pose for him nonetheless. Why is he drinking? Right, because of the bar. Sketch of one of Retro's portraits recovering from the effects of this week, hangover style. I'm still really not sure what's in this drink he has, but Sakuroma says it'll help, so it must be true. As far as supporting characters go, Velasma is a personal favorite of mine. She was added a couple of years ago by an artist that goes by Viper Crown. She was one of the earlier OCs I adopted next to Mixter, so I was really happy I was able to fit a spot for her in my universe. The green highlights on her hair and cobalt-like anatomy make me decide she'd be a perfect fit for the RAF realm. Her name is a combination of Velociraptor and Miasma. I see. More concepts. Art sketches for Retro's post-enough sprites. You can really see the difference in his body weight from the V1 idle pose to the V2 directional poses. Birthday RetroSpecter. Aww. Not mod related, but it's a really cute birthday gift art I got, featuring the RAF crew and Ace I got from Bones for my 30th birthday. I like to imagine the rocks in the cake taste like green apple Jolly Rancher candies. Oh, game over concept. Concept art sketch for playable Retro's Death Sprite. Right, there's gonna be so many Death Sprites. Death Sprites are always interesting to commission because most people who play FNF mods rarely die unless the song is insanely hard. This is why BF has no new unique Death Sprites in story mode. I know some mods also avoid this by just having a universal game over screen, but we already had a lot of unique skeletons in the roster, so I decided to commit to all of them having one. That is insane. I'll have to check them all out properly later. Serpent Scheme, a combination of Serpent, Turpine, and Scheme, is another favorite supporting character of mine in the Infernal Dice universe. She was adopted from an artist a couple of years ago who goes by Phelan. I usually am not a fan of multiple stripes on characters, but I think they work really well for her here. The wrenches on her tail gave me the idea for her to be a RAF Rampart's architect. She also has a different color variant where the blue is replaced by a bright orange, but I prefer the blue and felt it fit better for the RAF area she resides in. Fair, alright. Little doodle. Alright, continuing on. More chill. Berserker Retro's second and more up-to-date reference sheet. The nice thing about your OCs having forums is you get to update and redesign your OC without losing the old one. I grew a bit detached from Retro Phase 1 over the years since I had that design for so long. I saw how characters like Senpai and Woody had second phases in their songs and thought it'd be cool to do the same for Retro, but a new form entirely. Please note some trivia on this reference sheet may be out of date. Archives has the most up-to-date and accurate information, which I already read. Alright, more Berserker Retro. The crystals. Berserker Retro's first reference sheet. This one didn't have 3/4 angle or side angle, and adding shading to reference sheets can be a bit confusing, which is why I commissioned a second reference sheet. Please note the trivia in this reference sheet is very outdated. Please refer to Zerktro's archive for the most up-to-date information. One of the first concept arts of Zerktro. Since he's the son of Raph, we wanted to give him a bulky, intimidating build to really make the player feel threatened, even if they're just singing back and forth to each other the entire time. Concept art for Zerktro's down pose. Wanted to give him an all-fours stance to show that he can have a bit of an animalistic, ferocious side to him at times. And the right pose. Concept art for Zerktro's right pose. With this pose, I had the idea to make GF's hair blow to the right anytime this pose played, since Zerktro would be right in her face screaming during spectral ectospasm. It can look a bit jarring with how instant it is, but I think it's a funny detail personally. This was almost scrapped in part 2 of the updated GF models, but I insist that they were kept in. I barely even noticed that, I'll be honest. that it's cute tied to that sprite. Concept art sketch for Zertro's up pose. This pose shows his more angry side, with his palms open and his face pointing to the sky, when he's doing a roar before he's about to charge. Concept line art for Corruptro's left pose. This pose was to show Corruptro's essentially grasping for something like air. What remains of his own humanity, who knows? Concept art sketches for Zertro's health bar icons. He is still the only character in the mod to have 4 different health bar icons: losing, neutral, winning, near death, and near death. The near death one was made so the player would see it if they stacked enough poison and hit the 1 health threshold during any Zertro song. This was to create a sort of tension and pressure for the player to indicate you are 1 miss away from a game over. Ooh. The very first FNF stylized sprite of Zertro. The team had a few ideas of how he'd look in the mod, but ultimately this was the one I went with. If we had more time and I had more funds, I probably would have gotten a V2 sprite for Zertro as well, but I'm still pretty happy with how this current the current sprites look. There's so much! Up and up wild. Scrap concept poses for Zertro's up directional. Like in Satian, we wanted to give Zertro a proper roar and sprite for some parts in the songs when he sang up. But I ultimately decided to scrap it, and we just settled for the 1 up directional instead. Interesting. Fan art of Zertro used for Ectospasm in the 1.5 update. I really love the green storm effect this piece has. And the green energy coming from his hands is a really nice touch. Again, this was not commissioned or requested. It's one of the many amazing fan arts drawn by Ada Joker Cat. A piece of art I commissioned for Spectral. I really like what the artist did with the acid here dripping from Zertro's mouth. It's not something you see too often in artwork depicting Zertro. The white portal in the back, in the sky, also acting almost like the sun, is also a really cool touch. Gives the background almost a desert feel, which is perfect for the outskirts of the RAF ramparts. Dude. Silly doodle of my sprite artist made of their OC while trying to clear the harder 1.0 Ectospasm mod chart. Damn. Can I has cheeseburger? Retro offering a snack to Pom Pom. Another OC from a different FNF mod. I always loved the idea of OC mods being connected in one universe. Like many of you, I grew up with these Cartoon Network city bumper ads, and just seeing all those characters living normal daily lives together really made me enjoy that concept, but with OCs and the FNF modding scene. This is also one of the reasons why Mixer Spar exists with all its cameos. I agree, I really think it's nice to have like FNF mod characters interact with one another. I always adore that. Why? A silly request I asked from Bones of Zertro copying Sakuroma's down pose. This was used as a thumbnail art for the song Ectospasm, but Zertro and Sakuroma sing it. Other than it being funny, I thought it'd be cool if synths could influence other synths by being around each other. So Zertro's posing like this is essentially Lust taking over the RAF part of him. It's a concept I wanted to do more with the Infernalings, but didn't have time. I might pursue the idea further someday. Smash. A silly edit our animator made while animating Zertro's power-up animations, Spectral's outro. While this would be really funny death for BF, I'm still happy with the acid melt death animation we ended up doing. This could have been a funny rare death though if we had more time/resources. Nice. What this? My very first design and art for Berserker Retro. This was commissioned years before FNF, and I wasn't even thinking about a new form back then when I commissioned this. Years later, I ended up using it as inspiration for Berserker Retro when thinking of a second face for the mod, especially the green scales near his eyes/on his arms, which would end up becoming his crystals on Zertro. Huh. Interesting. More art of Zertro defending his realm. This was used as a random piece of loading art when selecting Ectospasm for Spectral in the 1.75 update. I really like the glowing particles/embers in this one. More scrap concepts of Zerkro's up pose with a close-up of his hair falling backwards from tilting so far back. Work in progress of the Spectre nodes using ectospasm. This node was always interesting because it's the only thing that hints towards the Spectre part in RetroSpecter. With the nodes fading everything else away if you don't hit them. Besides Retro being slightly transparent when he had a snake body, I've never really done much of the Spectre part of his name, like giving him ghostly abilities or spirit type stuff. I'd honestly like to, but he's already got so much going for him, it might be difficult to without him becoming a Mary Sue. Maybe one day if I can figure out a cool way to implement it. There is so much RAF content. Concept art of playable Zerkro's Death Sprite, added in the 1.75 update. The chain necklace was always meant to be a teaser/hint towards his third phase, and isn't really part of his official skeletal anatomy. Funny concept for Zerkro companion/EF boats. If I remember correctly, we were going to go with this until I realized that Retro cares about his equipment, as stated in one of his side dialogues. So we went with the speaker. His speaker slightly bending while the tail holds RAF GF instead. A more detailed close-up sketch of Zerkro's skull for his death animation. What's this? Zerkro's very first official concept for the mod. After going through a few artist ideas and concept, this was the one I ultimately decided on. With his transformation from phase 1 to phase 2, however, I wasn't sure how we were going to put skulls and chains on him without it looking jarring. So ultimately I decided to keep him in his casual attire and save the chain/skulls for his third phase instead. Work in progress of the poison/acid arrows that Zerkro uses in spectral/ectospasm. We wanted something that would permanently penalize the player if they messed up during the song, but we also didn't want it to be something like an instant death. So we settled on a passive health drain that stacked the more times you messed up. To balance this, we made sure that you can't die from the poison alone. It brings your health to 1, so you can still win if you're dedicated enough. Another work in progress of the poison/acid nodes used in spectral/ectospasm. You can see behind them that they were originally going to possibly have a bubbly effect. Early concept art of Zerkro's left pose. Things like his hair and shading would be edited and cleaned up in the final version. Also, Nightmare version. A scrapped concept of Nightmare Zerkro, inspired by the FNF Indie Cross mod. This would have featured a song harder than Ectospasm. I made an agreement with the sprite artist that if I made the song first, they would do the sprites for him. Sadly, due to my lack of motivation, mental health, and focusing on writing/dialogue, etc., this idea never came through. Shame, honestly. Though I guess I should consider myself lucky for not having that insane challenge on me. But what? There's a silly doodle of Crystal BF during Corruptro's development, one of our artists drew, showing his less sentient side. Crystal BF was our take on BF from the FNF Corruption mod. We wanted to go for something that affected him in a similar way to Corruptro, where he loses almost all sense of humanity as the crystals break out through his body, spirit, and mind, which can be seen when he dies in the song. This is also why BF completely tosses the mic in the poses. He doesn't need it to scream as loud as possible and have his voice be heard. Scrapped concept of Crystal BF with his mic. We scrapped it because we wanted Crystal BF to appear more feral. Another scrap concept of Crystal BF's idle pose. This time we were getting closer to what we wanted, but we weren't quite there yet. One more attempt after this and we'd have what his idle sprite is today. Very first concept art for Corruptro, changing his acid to a hot pink and leaking it from the mouth and nose, were to really show you that he's lost all sentience and has completely been consumed by the corruption. Not a single thought behind those soulless eyes except death and destruction. Concept sketches for Crystal VF's health bar icons. You can see the crystallization really taking over his in his lose icon. Concept sketch of the corruption slowly taking over Zergtro. This was more of a doodle rather than anything official. Corruptro is Zergtro but from a different universe, so it's interesting to think about that this is how it might have started for Corruptro. Huh. Look at these concepts. Sketch concept for Corruptor's poses. These were all modified/adjusted versions of his normal poses, but with a more sinister and menacing look to them. Corruptor was originally meant to be a surprise for P2, but similar to Sakuroma in P1, the assets were ready. The assets ready, so we added him to 1.75 to have a little more content for the player. And not quite finished version. The final concept shot for the Corruptor song and stage before implementing it all into the game. To save time and to pay a bit of an homage to the original FNF corruption stages, we ultimately settled on repainting the raft stage with some slight modifications to save resources and memory. We color corrected some of the assets like the crystal, sky portal, and Corruptor nodes. The Corruptor nodes would eventually be remade completely for part 2. What this? Silly non-canon doodle of Corruptor and Crystal VF doing being silly little guys. Thumbnail artwork in progress for the Corruptor YouTube video. Wanted an action shot of Corruptor appearing deadly and intimidating with Crystal VF ready to excitedly fight back. The original sprites for Corruptor. Ultimately, I felt the art style of these didn't mesh well with our other character sprites, so we got a different artist to redo them. These helped give us a great reference for the Corruptor sprites you see in the game today, however. And then we have this. Sketch work in progress for our 1.75 Q&A video on YouTube. The sketch was started by Bones, the Skelebunny, 01, and then handed off to Tired Pink Panda for coloring/line art. Apocalypse Retro. Retro's Phase 3 reference sheet. Never before seen until this mod's release. I think I've had this reference sheet for almost a few years now. Really goes to show you how long ideas can take to implement compared to conceptualizing them when it comes to a big project like this. The poses in this reference sheet are a bit outdated, as I wanted Phase 3 to look more gorilla-like and less dog-like, which you'll see in other scrapped art pieces here in the gallery. This is still a good reference for his body type, face, and patterns, though. Please note the trivia on the sheet is old and outdated. Refer to his info in the archives for the most up-to-date information. One of the first attempts at a Phase 3 retro. I wasn't too big on the stance he had, but I really loved the chain necklace and skull shoulders with the crystals and candles jutting out, so we ended up keeping parts of his design while letting go of the pose. Another attempt at a Phase 3 idol pose. I really like the sharper edges on this one, but he still had the problem of looking too much like a giant dog. While Apoctro is almost entirely beast-like, I still wanted him to have anthro properties, which is why I settled on the gorilla pose by the end of it all. Even more dog-like! First attempt at Apoctro's right directional. Not much else I can say here that hasn't been said in previous entries. Too dog-like, so we scrapped. Another concept for Phase 3. This one was a lot better because it showed him standing upright. While this one was pretty similar to Zergtro, it captured that more tall, intimidating feel I was looking for, rather than him being on all fours. Oh god, it doesn't end! Another Dogtro. I really like the big claws and face in this one though. You can see that carry over a bit into his final sprites in Apoctro. Concept art for Phase 3. Let's take a Let's take a doggone break to bring up the fact that Apoctro was going to have even more crystals all over his body. You can see this in the concept art. We decided not to add these to the sprites or reference sheets since it'd be a hassle to draw each time. What? One of the first silly pictures of Apoctro drawn by one of our concept artists based on the Pitbull holding a corn dog in the shower meme. Another dog reference. Again, dog. An attempt at Apoctro's left pose. This one was probably the most dog-like one of them all. In different universe where Mysona was a dog, this would have been a keeper. A sketch concept for Phase 3, finally raising his hands off the ground and appearing less like a dog finally. This was the start of Phase 3's body stance change and would shape into what his current sprites look like today. After many attempts, we finally found the perfect pose for Apoctro. His up pose concept really showed his upright body language, while being a lot more menacing and deadly compared to Zergtro. It also really accentuated his height, which was a major factor for Phase 3's stage when designing him. Phase 3 V1 sprite left pose sketch concept. Yes, you heard that right. Apoctro had a full set of complete sprites finished shortly after P1's release. But, as stated in many other entries, they were too dog-like, so they were scrapped. Side note, I love dogs, and I got no beef with dog OCs. I just didn't want Retro to go down a snake/dragon, to a hulking monster, to a giant puppy. And no, don't give me the Cerberus excuse. That's what Phase 4 is for. Scrapped up pose for Phase 3 V1 sprites. This one's honestly pretty cool and feels more dragon-like. One of the fewer poses I wouldn't have minded keeping. Ooh. And here it is, the original idle sprite for Phase 3 Retro. Ignore Phase 4, I don't know why he's here. As stated in previous entries, this sprite is 100% complete and ready to be used. But we had the sprites for so long that after a couple of years passed, the main sprite and concept artist felt like they could do a better job translating my wish onto Phase 3, which are the sprites you see in game today. I'm sure by the time you read this, the old sprites will be available somewhere on one of the team's socials if you want to check them out. Apoctro V2's right directional sprite concept, it's similar to Zergtro's right directional pose, but this pose shows that he isn't on all fours all the time. And another one. Apoctro V1's left pose that was scrapped, he joins Retro Phase 1 and Sakuroma Phase 1 in the roster of characters that have two completely remade sprite sheets. Apoctro V1's down scrapped down pose. What do you mean a down scrap down pose? I am all for retro dog allegation. I'm all out of retro dog allegation commentary. Fair enough. Apoctro V1's up pose sketch concept. Apoctro V1's up pose sketch concept. Apoctro's health bar icon sketch concept. What's interesting to note here is his losing icon. The skull gains a lower jaw and opens up as if it's sentient. This wasn't intentional, but it does accidentally allude to his fourth face, which is kinda neat. Some people saw these health bar icons online in teasers and assumed it meant Phase 3 would have multiple heads. Little did they know what would be after. Hi Lucas! How's it going? Hope you're well. I finished reading the lore pages. But there is more. Apoctro V1's down scrapped up pose. Down scrapped up pose? Okay. Goodbye, Doctro, you will not be missed. Yeah, the lore has been read. Thankfully. I'm now going through the art gallery, which also has a lot to it. I mean, look at this stuff. Retro Phase 4's reference sheet, seen for the first time with this mod's release. This is another reference sheet I've had for a couple of years. You can see that there is no information in the boxes here, which is because I hadn't thought of any trivia for him back then. Check archives if you want more info on Catastro. What's funny is Retro used to be a Hydra, so this design almost comes back full circle. Also, we had a joke in the team that the other two heads are named Pablo and Juan. Pablo and Juan! Well, you heard it here first. A storyboard frame of a victorious BF defeating Phase 4 and GF landing behind him. Unfortunately, by the time we decided to give boyfriend and girlfriend their own outfits for each week, this cutscene was already completely finished. This is why BF transforms back to his regular clothes and GF remains the same. These cutscenes were worked off and on across a couple of years. While this perspective shot is really cool, it does clash a bit with Catastro's anatomy. This is not the fault of the animator though, as the heads were designed before the body in his reference. Unless he has stretchy powers in his neck, he wouldn't really be able to do this. I always just chalked it under extreme perspective, with the rest of his body being underneath the surface of the lava. Would be more this RetroSpecter mod after all. Every section has every single lore information you could possibly ever need to ever know. Yeah. Honestly, I won't lie, it is getting a bit exhausting. When will we be playing FNF on an FNF Friday again? Who knows? Line art frame of Phase 4's reveal. I really love the two heads rising up, with the final head showing in the center. Makes for a really cool dramatic shot. An in-between frame of one of Catastro's heads about to rise to reveal himself. Juan reveal. I really wanted to give a little asymmetry to Catastro, even if it was subtle. This is why one of the heads always has his tongue sticking out with a cracked skull. Also just sleepy as hell. I'm feeling really tired overall in winter season. I get it. I absolutely get that. In all honesty, I'm probably gonna hit the hay right after the stream is over myself. Storyboard comic for BF defeating Phase 4. Most of it carried over to the final cutscene. Sin reveals. A scrapped storyboard calling for the other 6 Infernalings revealing themselves after BF defeats Retro. Originally, Izuri was going to congratulate the player and introduce him to the rest of the Infernalings, but due to time and pacing constraints, I decided to scrap it and have them watch BF from afar after his victory. I see. Oh god, and we're still on Raph! Oh no. The very first sketches of Phase 4's left and right poses. Due to Catastro's massive size, I was originally going to have most of his body submerged in the cyan lava, and only his necks and tail claws sticking out. This idea mostly stayed in, but we got rid of the lava since the rising scene would cause the lava to flood into the city. Catastro's up and down concept sketch poses, thank you for being short. A more refined concept for how we wanted Catastro to look like in-game. The main head was started first, then over time the other two were added. And Mike points to whichever head is singing. Rough concept, directional pose for Catastro. One thing I wanted to make sure with him was that despite being a massive Kaiju Hydra, he still cares about his equipment at the end of the day. This turned into the ongoing joke that he always has his microphone when fighting BF no matter what phase he's in. A sketch concept for how Phase 4 would look like if BF and GF, ignore BF's shoes, before we settled on rising geysers into the city reveal from Phase 3's fight. Phase 4 was going to take place in the underground cyan lava caverns, just on a much more massive scale underground. Why should we ignore BF? After the center head was refined, the other two heads were conceptualized and drawn, though the head with the tongue sticking out is on the wrong side. A more refined sketch pose for retro is down directional. Sketch concept for Catastro's health bar icon. A colored sketch concept for Catastro's health bar icon. We ended up animating this to make it feel more dramatic and important for the finale of Raph's story within the mod. Also, hi, silly bun son. How's it going? How's it going? Neon! Thank you for the raid! Thank you! Gacha raid indeed! Welcome to so much reading! A more refined sketch pose for Catastro's up-directional sprite. And Silly Bunsan, thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. A more refined sketch pose for Catastro's right-directional sprite. And what do we have here? A really rough early concept of how we wanted Retro to have a secret fourth phase fight. This was before the body was made on his reference sheet, and we were trying to figure out how to fit him on the screen and also be much bigger than phase 3. One cool idea I really liked about this concept was Catastro's tail claw holding both BF and GF during the fight. The fact they could be crushed at any moment felt like it could have added a really tense fight. But it was ultimately scrapped when we switched over to the heads only. I see. You see, I did see. What about Adam Sandler being today? Why? Love reading with all the DDLC stuff you played. I do. But this is an FNF stream. I agree though, it would have been awesome to be battling in the claw. High quality title Benny mod, there's like semi-shitpost mod, quality controllers, whatever, the devs felt like 8 free play sections, wow. And every single section had like 5 to 20 songs each. At least it doesn't take as long as RetroSpecter. A more refined work in progress of the previous Phase 4 concept. You can tell this is early on, since Retro's color scheme is still the same, and he's lacking the skull masks. Catastro's sprite concept. Once the concepts were done, the head moved on to spriting process. Figured out how to animate the heads into sprites would prove challenging, but we had a better idea on what to do as these made further progress. These are the most up-to-date sprite concepts for Catastro. Rather than each head doing something completely different and being a nightmare for the animators, we settled on a wavy effect for the heads. This is why you can see one head animate, then the second, then the third. Mixed with the fire hair, it creates a pretty cool animation cycle. Oh boy. A concept of Phase 4 before the updated colors. This one's really cool because the fire hair almost makes it look like the skull head is breathing fire. Unfortunately, it covers up too much of Retro's face, so we didn't end up using it. Catastro's idle sprites before shading. This was the original neck length for the sprites, but as you can see in his actual fight, we had to extend his neck to be much longer to accommodate for the spacing around him and the stage behind him. If you only do the main story content in RetroSpecter, it does take around 3 hours. If you say no, I require more, it takes a bit more, to put it lightly. Yeah. The main story takes about, 3 hours. But don't forget, that's just the main story in the non-IPU. IPU is also technically main story and takes a bit more time as well. And then you get to the side stories. Anyway, concept for Catastro's fight. This is where we started thinking of the lava rising them out of the crater past Phase 3 fight, and figured how to utilize the geyser from there. Catastro's left directional sprite before coloring / shading. Catastro's down directional sprite before coloring / shading. More concept art of Catastro. He also had a fire neck fluff in this, but the fire neck fluff for 3 heads would have been a bit awkward to draw / animate, so the idea wasn't carried over. I like to think he can control the fire around his body at will, though, so he really wanted to make some fire neck fluff to do it. Early sketch for the previous shown Catastrophe full body concept. God, how much RAF concept art is there? This is all just one of the sins. Early concept for GF's RAF speakers and outfit. We felt the goth aesthetic would fit her for the most in Retro's realm when we made her all the way back in 2021. Originally, she was going to just take this outfit, but with recolored speaker / emblem color swap for each Infernaling. The neck strings and fishnet arm sleeves were also unfortunately not carried over due to an oversight. Shame. Whoa! What is this outfit? Concept art for GF's RAF outfit. She has a choker necklace, but it's impossible to see in her in-game sprite. The second outfit was a revision idea that had a reference to Retro's neck fluff, but we decided to stick with the first one. So much skin. Thumbnail work in progress of RAF BF's very first appearance for Kamix's Ectospasm remix video on YouTube. There was a fan-made design by one of our concept artists that was made specifically for the remix, but I liked it so much I decided to make him, along with 6 other Syntheme BF designs, officially part of the mod's main story. Ecto Drip. Original reference sheet for RAF BF, formerly called Ecto BF, after he was designed for Kamix's Ectospasm remix. Our concept artist decided to start working on an official reference sheet for him. This is why he's called Ecto BF in the sketch, despite his first appearance in vs. Retro in the song Catastrophe. Doodle of RAF GF made during mod development. Sketch concept of RAF GF V2. When we updated boyfriend's sprites, girlfriend's proportions and style looked really out of place by comparison next to him, so we decided to update her as well, while keeping the original GF sprite as legacy content. Directional pose sketch concepts for RAF BF originally was going to be a secret bonus skin, but I felt too much time and effort were placed into these to go unnoticed, so I figured out a way to incorporate this skin into the main story during Phase 4's song. RAF BF's directional misposes. We wanted to give RAF BF a gremlin-like personality, which is why he has jagged teeth. He also has an acid mouth similar to Zergtro. This was because originally the idea behind him was that he absorbed so much poison from so many retries that he was essentially transformed into this. But what if I didn't have any retries? First concept for BF's Death Sprite you see in Spectral and Beyond. Despite part 1 not having an overly dark tone, I wanted BF's Death to be a mix of silliness and seriousness. This was to make Raph appear more intimidating and serious, despite him being the player instead of actually fighting him. The idea is when you hit a poison node, that Zergtro spitting poisonous acid on you until there's enough to melt BF completely. An animation for this was considered but never implemented due to all the different playable skins. A doodle of Raph BF made during mod development which shows his more devious side. Based on the Pitstorm update in base game FNF, this is our concept artist's take on what RAF BF and GF would look like for getting a higher rank in the results screen. The idea for a similar results screen was considered, but with how many characters there are and how long animations would take / cost, I ended up deciding to keep the results screen fairly simple by comparison, which is honestly very fair. I think you don't get a shout out or something. I don't know what to say. I honestly don't think a majority of people I've ever known half of this content is here. And to be real, I was so overstimulated by how much content there is that I completely forgot there was a pyro/lore. Yeah, there is a lot. I pointed out a few mistakes I found as well. I pointed out a few little mistakes I discovered while reading. Though, don't be surprised if I gloss over some mistakes, because at a certain point, my brain is just melting from all of this lore. I apologize if I miss stuff. I'm having an issue right now that I usually only ever have towards the end of DDLC streams, which is me starting to actually get lightheaded and sweaty. Where's the cold sweat coming from? I have no idea. Anyway, normally after streams I eat, and that usually helps, so I'm gonna grab some snacks real quick. I still have my cashews. I never emptied them out. So that should help. Yeah, hotfix is necessary. Definitely. Definitely. I hope you'll excuse me from pausing for a short moment here. Don't worry, we'll get right back into reading. I just prefer not to die by the end of the stream, you know? Since there's still like half of the stream ahead of me. Alright, where were we? Shit. Another doodle what if of the pit stop update results screen, but with RAF GFBF getting a low rank. Hey, yo! God, I wish that were me! Hey, yo! XD. A doodle of RAF GF and BF. The green fire around RAF BF when he powers up in Catastrophe was inspired by the Dragon Ball Z aura power-up effect. What is this? Finished version of the older RAF BF reference sheet that was shown earlier in the gallery. Money, you could have the power. Fair enough. Man, he really likes biting and stretching things, doesn't he? A doodle showing the relationship RAF GF and RAF BF have with each other. RAF GF is more chill and laid back, while RAF BF is a high-energy, chaotic gremlin. They are perfect together. I had to assume needing to read specific stuff for an extended amount of time would probably do that for you, since A, you usually try to program yourself to read properly, which causes you to probably get a bit of brain damage when you fuck it up, and B, you are probably speaking in it all in a row, so you are basically talking 3 hours non-stop. That might give you a headache. Yeah. Again, I've played visual novels like DDLC, but with that I usually pause more and comment on things than I'm doing here. Alright, backgrounds. The very first concept for the RAF Ramparts area, I wanted to it to have a sort of rocky wasteland vibe to it, but since this was hell, I wanted some demonic magic properties as well, like floating rocks and wisping clouds in the sky. The second concept art for the RAF Ramparts area, while I was happy with the shape of the rocks, something about the brown and green here didn't mesh well with the vision, so I kept it as a base and added more vibrant colors to it. Third and near final concept for the RAF Ramparts area. This was much closer to what I envisioned, but it was a bit too green. So we ended up adding some blue tones to the whole stage and making the green crystals alternate between cyan per beat to balance it out some more. We also reduced some of the stage glow and overlay transparency. No, no. Very first concept for Phase 3 stage song. The idea was that Zergtro's ground pounds the floor at the end of Spectral, causing a giant crack in the surface. Then, due to the sheer weight of him and BFGF, the ground gives in, and they fall down this hole into the massive cavern below. A more refined version of Phase 3's background, inspired by the Brinstar stage from Smash Bros. Melee, and the Beast's final boss stage from The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. The idea was that Phase 3's outrage caused tectonic shifting and the lava inside to rise everybody back up to the crater for the Phase 4 fight. The cyan lava was also lightly inspired by the blue radioactive substance called Phazon in the Metroid Prime Trilogy series. Oh, okay. Trojan, Scrapboard, High Rise of Lost, Hive Mine, Z-Tower. It's interesting that in this concept, it almost looks like Azurius' tower is higher, but the lore says that the last tower is actually, this tower is actually the highest building in the area, not Izzy's tower, although it doesn't look like that here. Anyway. First sketch concept of the Infernal Lands. The idea behind the stage was to reveal every Sin's area at the same time during a climatic moment in Phase 4's song. I wanted it to sort of be a theme park type reveal, to show that this is my world, this is my universe, you've waited this long to see it, so here it finally is. All shoved in your face at once and ready for you to explore and meet the other characters. After the big reveal, I wanted to slowly rise up towards to show more of the city, eventually reaching the ceiling. The idea of the environment storytelling was inspired by Super Mario Sunshine, where you can see other stages in the distance from the stage you're at. The ceiling was inspired by the Hidden Palace zone in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, with the Death X face poking through the ceiling. This size of the map is technically not canon, it's similar to something you'd see in a stage select during a video game. The actual Infernal Lands are much more spread out and vast, covering almost the entire planet, with in-between hybrid areas. Lust X, Pride's area, Gluttony X, Pride X, Gluttony's area, etc. Whew. Well, up on the hill, but the building is smaller, that makes sense. I see the vision, Izzy is prideful, so his being the tallest makes sense. Yes, but in lore, it's this one. An early work in progress of Azurius' Prior Spire. It's called the Prior Spire because it was historically the first tower that was built, and the tallest until Hive Mine and Sakuroma took over and rose above his tower with their buildings. We finally made it to Sakuroma! Alright, finally! This deserves some snacks. Guys, I don't think I can finish all of this today. I'm just saying. Considering how long it took me to get past Raph. I mean, I figure Raph is the longest segment, but still. I mean, seriously, there's a decent chance this will take forever. Okay, so she got a booty on her too, no surprise there. IPU section, yeah, true. Backup readers for when you take a break. Ah yes, genius, really. Hey Lucas, you wanna do some reading? Oh boy. What that tongue do, though? Sakuroma's edited reference sheet. Originally she had much larger pupils, but this made her look more like a bug/alien, and I personally felt like it removed some of the attractiveness to her, despite her being lost. This would be fine for a future phase, but phase 1 should lure the victim in with deceiving looks, since it's the player's first impression of her. She also used to not have any hair tuft on her head, causing her to look almost bald. Besides that, she hasn't really changed much over the years. I would like to get a new reference sheet for her someday, with a little more weight to her though. Mainly around the hips and midriff, to really show that she's lost. Keep in mind this reference sheet is old, so trivia may be outdated. Refer to the archives for the up-to-date information. Doodle warm-up of Sakuroma drawn by her original sprite artist. You can see her much larger pupils here before they were changed in her reference. Reading at 2 AM while utterly whispering the entire time, like last time I did on Cards Against Humanity. What is this, an ASMR channel? I'll think about the Ah, I see. ASMR streams when? The original sprite sketch concept for Sakuroma V1. While I really love these sprites, they clashed a bit with FNF and the rest of the mod, so I decided to get a different artist to redo them for the 1S. 1.5, I'm stupid. See, my brain is already melting. But keep the same poses since I really liked them so much. She's meant to appear floaty since she's a light moth that used to do ballet, so I felt these poses really nailed that perfectly. Line artwork in progress for Sakuroma's reference sheet. Promotional art used for thumbnails, promotional art, etc. Originally this art was part of a much bigger piece featuring also Retro and Zurius, but I liked it so much that I hired the artist to work on the mod to do more renders of the rest of the cast and make the original sprites for V1 Sakuroma. The very first art of Sakuroma, drawn by me, Retro. Her and Zurius designs were made around the same time, way back in 2018. And they were my very first OCs, created by me after the character Retro. Originally, she had more markings on her breasts and belly to give her a giant intimidating face to lure prey in, but I felt it was too much with the wings and just stuck with a hard crotch and hard crotch shape marking instead. You can already tell I'm falling apart. To keep things more simple, while her wings kept more complex pattern. Sketch idle work in progress for Sakuroma V1 sprites. You can see here that she was always on her tiptoes to show that she was graceful and light. While this is no longer canon since she isn't on the team 24/7, she can still choose to balance on her tiptoes when she feels like it. Since she isn't on them, why I read team. Again, brain melt. Okay, they're individual. Old concept for Sakuroma's health bar icon. Sakuroma went through quite a few different health bar icons. It was hard to find the one I felt fit best for her. Eventually we did, and it's fun to look back on the ones that didn't make it as well. Old concept for Sakuroma's health bar losing icon. The dreaded last note, originally C at the end of ectospasm. This is another mistake I was actually able to catch, look at that. If you missed it, you had to replay ectospasm all over again, or type in the extremely long code that was the Rosie Maple Moth's Wikipedia entry. To ensure certain players could still experience her song and sprites, we made a second optional shorter cheat code to unlock her song, which was Mommy Mothy Milkies. Unfortunately, cheat codes were completely cut from 2.0, so we added difficulty options for ectospasm. Now these notes are used as natural mind notes for Sakuroma's second phase, which clouds the player's vision with pheromones. Too much lust on stream. Brain is dissolving from incomprehensible horrors upon these realms. Yes. One of the first concept for Lust's emblem. While I really like the ribbon design around it, it just being a heart in the center was a bit simple. So I'm glad our logo designer went back and changed it. Not mod or Death Note Doodle related, just some cute fan art of Sakuroma. I avoid adding fan art to the gallery as best I could, but some slipped through the cracks, considering there's over 700 gallery images. It was bound to happen. There were definitely times I definitely considered a fan art section to the gallery archives menu, but by the time I finished archives gallery, me and the team were too burned out to pursue the idea. Don't laugh at me. I'm suffering here. What this? Some fan arts I found my concept for one of our part 1 concept artist designers made. I really like the markings on the second one, but I'm ultimately glad I stuck with the first design. Fair, fair. A work in progress for one of Sakuroma's dialogue portraits. This would be the start of the very first portraits of the mod outside of Retro BF and GF. Final sketch concept for Sakuroma V2. If you look close enough, you might notice something. Her eyelashes were changed from 1.75 to part 2. This just came down to personal preference. I prefer her with the current eyelashes compared to what she has in these sketches. Both are good though, and not really a huge difference. I did feel like it was worth mentioning though, if you feel like something feels a bit different about part 2 Saku. Alright. Izzy's cloak! No! A silly doodle shitpost of Sakuroma eating Izurius' cloak. This is more of an ongoing joke rather than it being canon, but she has been known to eat fabric on rare occasions when nobody's looking. She's got nothing on Insation though. Work in progress of fun-size Sakuroma's playable sprites and misses. While Retro and Ace's fun-size skins were stylized more after BF, this one is more accurately copied Sakuroma's style by chibifying her, but still keeping her features like her eyes, face, body, etc. A work in progress for one of fun-size Sakuroma's dialogue portraits. Originally we wanted every fun-size character to have different expressions for side stories like Retro, Ace, and Saku have, but the art team was understandably too burned out on portrait expressions by the time we reached those, so we compromised by just having neutrals for each fun-size skin. Except she has one more skin that isn't her neutral one, where she has the mic. But why? A Ring doorbell meme of Sakuroma drawn by a fan, originally found in the files for part 1 through 1.75. We moved it into the gallery so it's more easily accessible. A rough concept for what Sakuroma's stage would look like. The idea for her establishment being called the Fuzzy Feeling wasn't until later in development. In fact, this whole outside stage variant wasn't meant to exist. The interior stage was made first and was originally going to be the only stage for Lust. The main reason the stage exists is because we needed a spot for the Patreon cameos. By the time this was offered as a Patreon option, the interior already had most of all the interior cameos filled with the inside the establishment. So we made a second background for her, which ended up really working out for the story really well. I see, so all these people outside were Patreon cameos. Makes sense, makes sense. Gonna access peep meme, yes! The memes are what we're here for, after all. Similar to the Retro and Ace fanarts drawn by the same artist, this was fanart I liked so much that I asked if I could use it for Ectogasm in 1.75. To keep art consistency though, we removed these as the loading screen art and moved them here to the gallery. What's Daddy Dearest doing there? Obviously, Daddy Dearest was the first Patreon supporter. Duh! Clearly. Fan art used for fuzzy feeling loading screen in the 1.75 update. Fan art used for fuzziest feeling loading screen in the 1.75 update. What? Not mod related, but a concept, what if for Sakuroma, aka male Sakuroma. While this form isn't canon at the moment, Sakuroma can shapeshift her anatomy to look like this if she really wanted to. Other sins can also slightly shapeshift, but Sakuroma does this the most effectively, being the sin of lust. No extreme shapeshifting though, like completely changing yourself into a different creature. Some of Izuri's strongest potions can do that temporarily, however. I see. This Retro's first ever fan. Yay! Whoa. Concept what if scenario for Sakuroma if she was Raph. This is personally one of my favorite fan-made Sakuroma forms and hope to incorporate it into my story one day, or at the very least, an AU similar to IPU. Interesting. So that's Greed, huh? Concept what if for Sakuroma she was Greed. Most of these forms were made for fun and not anything tied to the mod in mind. And Pride, okay. Concept what if for Sakuroma she was Pride. These forms were all teasing on April Fool's Day, where I jokingly said that all sins were being replaced with different Sakus to help sell the mod better. You know what? It probably would sell really well. Envy, huh? That's an interesting design. For concept what if for Sakura, she was Envy. I really like the tattered wings in this design especially. Floof makes hoodie cute. My favorite Saku concept next to Raph Saku. The floofy hoodie is adorable, and I even started a song for this design when I saw it, despite there being no plans to make sprites for her. Funnily enough, this design would partially be the inspiration for Maku's second phase, with how tired and sleepy she is. Huh. And gluttony. Saku instead of that weird shark. That would be nice, yeah. Concept what if Sakura she was gluttony. I really like all of these what if scenarios and welcome people to try and draw more AUs of and sin swaps if they'd like. It'd be really cool to see what other people make outside of just Sakuroma. Swingy feeling. YouTube thumbnail art made for Swingy Feeling, a song edit of Fuzzy Feeling to be in the swing format. I edited a few songs for the swing versions and would have put them in the mod, but it apparently would have been a nightmare for the charters to chart, so we ended up not adding them for part 2. Boo! Bad charters, boo! No, it would have been fun, but honestly there's so much to play in this mod already. There wasn't a real need to add these, but it would have been fun. What? What in the... Okay, but why? While the left is just a joke/shitpost, the right is the iconic Sakuroma shadow teaser you'd see in Spectral/Ectospasm for years to come, all the way since part 1. However, since she finally got her own stage and week in this update, she wasn't really much of a teaser anymore. Her being there also clashed a bit with the main story, so she was removed in part 2. Have you considered the fact that would add at least 70 other gallery pictures you would have to read out? That's if you don't include the IP. If we count those as separate versions. I'm already dying here, okay? Another what-if concept for Sakuro, man. Concept art for Sakuroma's Steph sprites. Naturally, instead of pulsating balls, we decided to do pulsating ovaries for her X-ray. Don't look at me. More concept doodles of Raph Sakuroma. Okay, we're on to the stage. That's good progress. Rough concept of what Sakuroma's interior stage would look like. I did some research hopping around different worlds on RetroSpecter looking for something I felt would fit Sakuroma best, and sent those to our background artist at the time. He would eventually combine some of these screenshots into what you see here. Line out of Sakuroma's interior stage. While the skeletons there may be seen as unnerving, don't worry, they're just props. Sakuroma would never suck the life essence out of one of her patrons. Right? In all seriousness, it was natural to add them at first, but they're a nice reminder that we're in hell and not just some random bar. It gives Sakuroma a bit of suspiciousness to her, especially considering her lore. An amazing beginning concept for Inside the Fuzzy Feeling, featuring retro ASPF and GF placements that would cement their locations going into the finished stage. Also Booba. Also Booba. Yes. One of the adoptables I got from an artist who is the bartender for the Fuzzy Feeling. Sadly, due to camera constraints, you can't really see her in-game unless you'd adjust the camera or go through the files. RIP Bartender Bunny, you will not be forgotten. 07. BF and Sakuroma, very hyper-realistic. Another adoptable I got, I used as a cameo in the outside variant of Sakuroma's stage. These cameos were used to fill in the outside crowd so it would feel less empty, just in case we didn't get a ton of people supporting the cameo pledge. Better to have extra room for something like that than to run out of room. Whoa. Oops, horny. I mean, a tentacle slime creature? How can one not be horny for this? Yeah, no, I agree with this. Absolutely would. And if I died in the process, so be it. Hey! Spinne, stop, you can't deny... Why do this to me, Spinne? You can't deny you feel the same way, right? Right? I mean, come on. Another adoptable used in Sakuroma's establishment. Seen flirting with another adoptable. As far as adoptables go, she's definitely one of my favorites. Drawing/animating her with two different body parts, above table, below table, made things a bit tricky for our artists and animators, but they made it work. Absolutely hot design. You can't deny it, ever. Hazard Helper. Formerly an adoptable called Hazard Helper, this is Sakuroma's servant. Aino 13. Aino comes from Japan, which can mean love and affection. While 13 usually relates to something unlucky, it can also mean positivity and growth, which is what you see in Aino despite her janitorial duties. To top it all off, Aino is short for Artificial Intelligence Number. I thought combining all these together would make for a very cool character name. What? No eyes, huh? Another last adoptable cameo used to fill in the space outside Sakuroma's establishment. Besides supporting side characters like Velasma, Aino, etc., this was the only place I could show more of my adoptable characters. Due to the layout of the stage, so that's another reason why you see so many adoptable characters here and inside the bar. Heartbreaker Sakuroma. Just that smug expression. It taunts me. How smug can one morph be? Sakuroma's second phase reference sheet. Seen for the first time inside this gallery, I wanted to go for something even sexier than the first phase to really show that she's the incarnation of lust. However, this form comes at the cost of being more sinister and evil. She's a sin, so duh. I wanted her chitin-like skin on her arms and legs to be like hardened skin for combat, and the holes in the leggings were inspired by Megalopony. She also now has a long cigarette used for more potent pheromone control. Please note that this reference sheet is a couple years old, so some of the trivia or design quirks may be outdated. Refer to the archive page if you'd like more accurate, up-to-date information. She's also called Braku for short. A silhouette render for Sakuroma's second phase, used for her old song teaser on YouTube. That song was eventually scrapped in favor of Heartache. I had lost the files and didn't want to restart from scratch. I also felt Kamex could do better. What's funny about Shadow Saku is she was never really meant to be part of Braku's official design. But she was teased for so long, for years, a silhouette eventually just became a staple part of her design. The shadow is more of a form change rather than a new different phase entirely. One of the first concepts for Braku. I liked it, but I felt it was a bit too similar to Mami Miras, and felt she could look even more sexy, so it was back to the drawing board. The next sketch concept idea for Braku. Once I saw this one, I immediately knew I immediately knew this was the one to go with. I still remember the team being in VC during a Q&A livestream when our concept artist showed the sketch. Half the team freaked out, which convinced me even further this was the one. The final concept for Braku's sprite / idol pose. The swaying hips were kept in her idol animation, which really adds to her charm and personality. I'm also a huge fan of characters where the hair covers one eye. The pole also really helped figure out some unique sprite poses, not really seen much in an FNF mod before. Oh boy. Not mod related, but a commission of Shadow Braku. It's used promo art for a music adoptable I made. A down pose concept for Heartbreaker Sakuroma on a strip pole. I like this one, but it may have been a bit too spicy for suggestive limit standard, so it was scrapped. Shame! That's why you have the spiciness filter. Where it just said, this is really good art, it's very in character, I appreciate your effort. Not horny enough, though. I mean, it's lust. It has to be as horny as possible, right? Another older rough sketch concept for Braku before we went with the design we did. Very rough work in progress for Braku sketch concept render. Health bar icons for a scrapped good Saku route. When the Sins were originally planned to get their retro-sized updates in 2021, we thought it'd be cool if Sakuroma played played almost like a dating simulator. Then, depending on your choices by the end of it, you got to fight good Saku or evil Saku, which is Sakuroma Phase 2, you fight in Part 2. This was obviously scrapped due to time and ideal constraints. More refined health bar icons for good Saku, concepts for a good route Saku can be seen in the next upcoming images. Health bar icon concept for evil Saku route, which would turn into Heartbreaker Sakuroma, wanted to show the fact that she's still lost, but also having an evil sinister side to her. An icon sketch concept of Braku's winning expression. It looked wrong too, similar to her losing expression, so she was scrapped and modified. Wrong too. Alright, so that's good Saku, huh? A second version of good Saku. The first one is a couple images later. Originally, this was an idea for the Sakuroma form you get for choosing the right choices in her week during the dating segment part of it. Please note that this was just a concept and not an official or canon form for Saku, nor does Sakuroma have a good form in the first place. This is all scrap what if content / ideas similar to the other Saku forms. An older sketch doodle of Braku made by Sakuvi, one sprite artist. You can tell the design is a bit dated since the eyes are still alien/bug-like. The first version/concept of Good Saku, drawn by one of our concept artists. One thing I like about both versions is the ribbons wrapping around her. Definitely something to consider for her design in future forms. Hi Kirill, how's it going? A more refined version of one of the Braku sketch concepts shown in the gallery earlier. A doodle of Braku presenting her big naturals. Yes. Yes. Another doodle of Braku stepping on boyfriend. Side note, I did not ask for this. If I did, it would have been retro. I know of Twin Tails Fair. My very first concepts for last GF. I would have preferred the hair color to change for each GF, like RAF GF, and how most of the BF skins are, but I'm also fine with these. A more refined sketch for last GF V2. This would be used as a reference to animate her new sprites. The nice thing about V2 GFs is being able to give them more unique hairstyles, like her ponytail here. The first sketch for last BF. The idea is if Raf's acid was enough to convert BF into Raf BF, a similar thing would happen with him breathing in Last's pheromones, causing him to be even more flirtatious and aroused. A more refined sketch for last BF that would turn into his idol sprite. Alright. Last BF's official reference sheet. Our concept artist made this in Pride BF for fun, but I like the idea of BF changing clothes with GF in each week so much that I ended up commissioning them to make BFs for the other 4 sins. Directional pose sketch concepts for last BF. You can really see the lust taking him over with these poses. So much so that we decided to add a suggestive mode that disabled them so certain players wouldn't feel uncomfortable playing as this character. Mispose concept for Last BF. On the complete opposite end, Last BF's misposes are extremely goofy, which creates a nice juxtaposition for his non-miss sprites. We made it to Pride! We made it to sin number 3! He's naked! Also, you can really pull the puppy dog eyes, huh? Azurius' official reference sheet, commissioned a few years ago. He's loosely inspired by the Plague Doctor from Assassin's Creed 2, and just crows in general. I always liked bird characters, so I really wanted to make one of my own. Him and Sakuroma were made around the same time, and weren't originally sins. When I was trying to figure out which of my 3 OCs would fit the 3 of the sins, I felt Izzy would fit Pride the most. I almost considered making Retro Pride, but I felt Izzy wouldn't fit any of the other sins, so Pride he became. Keep in mind some of this trivia is outdated, refer to his archives page for the most up-to-date information. Yes. Quarter of the way through, debatably, hooray! To be fair, Raph probably had the most content. The very first concept and drawing I made of Azurius way back in 2018. His name was originally Azuria, which comes from the word Izuritia, which is Basque for the word plague. Shortly after, I combined it with Icarus, son of Daedalus, that flew too close to the sun in Greek mythology. And his name has stuck ever since. He was called Azurius after this, but due to his shorter nickname being called Izzy, I decided to remove the double R in his name and double Z's instead. The first finished reference of Azuri is drawn by one of our concept artists at the very beginning of the mod's development, adding a lot more detail like color, potions, spells, and a Plague Doctor staff. What's funny about Azurius and the Trojan is that despite having very different primary colors, their secondary colors have similar shades of green. This was unintentional due to different artists adding color to both their concepts at different times. I'm happy with how their colors both came out in the end though. A render of Azuri is made for his very first music teaser. This is actually a commissioned edit of some fan art from the artist I hired. The original didn't have a full body or a potion behind his back. He also had a more serious expression instead of smirking. A second render of Azuri is made for the full version of the song, shown in his gameplay demo. I wanted players to know that they'd be dealing with throwable potions when fighting him. I put full in quotes because it originally was the full version of the song, but Camex decided to extend it randomly one day because he felt like it. Waggy thingy. Nice. Concept for Azuri's directional poses. While the team was busy with their own tasks in the mod, we hired some help from outside the team on various smaller tasks. Once we got these sketches, the main concept and sprite artist finished cleaning them up and animating them. I really wanted him to have a finger wag and a lean forward to really show that he's prideful. Sketch concepts for Azuri's portrait expressions. The neutral was finished for a long time and used in 1.75 as a phone/hologram to tease his portrait in a way. The rest were finished during P2's development. Extra portraits for Azurius to fit the writing of the dialogue better. These were handled by a different concept artist, but I think they did a pretty good job at copying the other artist's style. Azuri's GF sprite concept sketch for his unlockable companion skin. Azuri's death pose sketch concept. I thought it'd be funny if, despite being Pride, he had a bit of a smaller package compared to the other male Infernalings. Oh! Rough concept sketch for Azuri's first neutral portrait expression. A rough sketch concept of Azurius at Sakuroma's establishment. I felt since all the Infernalings were drawn in different poses at the bottom of Sakuroma's stage, they needed unique table portraits as well. A sketch showing Azurius' horns. They're small, but he's still proud of them. And yes, this is canon. Most Infernal Lands denizens have horns. If they don't, they're either internal or use magic to hide them. The same applies to halos for Providence denizens. Yes, the itty-bittiest little horns, just like his itty-bitty package. I got out of Digital Circus, finally released and finished. Right! I do need to watch the new Digital Circus episode. Absolutely. Looking forward to that. Another concept for Azuri is drawn by a different concept artist during P2's development, of him asking for assistant questions. Scrapped losing icon for Azuri's health bar. Scrapped icons for Azuri's health bar. I really like these, but felt like they weren't exactly what I was looking for, so I recommissioned them. Onto the stage. Before we decided on the very long vertical hallway camera angle for Azuri's stage, this stage was originally going to be horizontal with glass-stained windows of each of the 7 sins. I felt this didn't really fit Pride though, as he wouldn't have art of the other characters in a building he owns with how full of himself he is. So the idea was scrapped. Concept art of the statues you see lying down in Azurius' hallway in the final version of the mod. Originally these statues were just going to be copy-pasted, but the artist decided to add some unique poses which ended up looking really nice. And here they are. Another work in progress of the statues in Azurius' stage before finalization. Azurius' stage before the statues were added. What's funny is how empty it looks without the statues. They really add a lot to his stage. I'm glad they're drawn / positioned the way they are in the final version. Because he really cares about everyone to have him on his wall. The true meaning of his mod was friendship all along. You're so right. You're so right. It's not like that idea was replaced with statues of himself. A near final concept of Azurius' stage. The hardest part about the stage was when we decided to add reflections to the floor. The base of the statues had to be completely redrawn to match the angle of the reflection relative to the game camera. It was very confusing to figure out. Citriol, originally adopted under the codename Infection, their name is a combination of Stitch and Vitriol. They are Azurius' assistant and have a pet rat named Fleggy. Their rat can shapeshift, and there is a rumor that is just horribly wrong there. There is a rumor that they have more creatures under their dress. They are also non-binary. I felt the silent assistant trope would fit Azurius the most since he talks a lot to himself. A rough concept for Statriol's cameo sprite. Originally, they were going to be closer to BF and Izzy, but I felt having them in the far back of the building would be funnier, and also show how long the hallway spans backwards. A what-if concept of Azurius if he was lost, codenamed Glizzy. And of course, he'd have a little bit of a peacock design. It makes sense. Azurius' potion hazard nodes, used in the game to cause visual hallucinations as part of his hazard. I would have liked an animation of him throwing a potion at the player, but it was unfortunately never considered due to time/money. Concept of Fun-Size Azurius' portrait left, using his sprite as a reference, right. Like Fun-Size Saku, the sprite was originally a fan-made playable BF skin, but we touched it up and officially added it to the mod. You're a big fan of Glizzy. I prefer Izzy. Alright, now we had a good look at GF. Concept art sketch of Girlfriend V2's sprite design. The long hair really works well with her here, similar to Raph GF. PridePF's first concept art. This was the last skin made for fun and was shown publicly early. That made me decide to keep the rest of the BF skins hidden and commission them as playable sprites for the story mode. If I had more time, I would have given each BF a different filter on their voice, similar to when Raph BF transforms in Catastrophe. But the songs were already made for the 7 Infernalings and it would have messed with the mixing. Shame. PridePF sketch poses. His mic was intended to be a sort of mini-staff, and he was going to have a cocky, smug attitude. Yeah, that makes sense for Pride. Better look at GF, look at that. PrideGF V1's concept art. Like Izzy, the artist decided to add a ton of belts to her. Why? Why not? Sketch concept for Pride, BF's miss poses. You can tell we didn't want to go too overboard with the misses and deaths in this game, since a lot of veteran players in FNF hardly miss or die. Better to allocate resources where people will see it, in my opinion. That makes a lot of sense. Between the Adventure Time, Pirates of the my... Kickstarted your heart? Is that so? Imagine that. Someone's heart actually getting kickstarted. I hope in the best of ways. Insation. Okay, things are speeding up a little bit. We might be able to at least finish the left side. Gluttony. A reference sheet for Insation I commissioned. Insation was the very first Infernal to be designed with the 7 sins in mind. Once I decided on Retro, Sakuroma, and Azura's sin rolls, I started brainstorming ideas for the other 4 sins. She is partially inspired by the Binding of Isaac, and rather going for the trope where gluttony characters fatter and full, I decided to give her a void portal that keeps her skinnier, to show her never-ending hunger. Her name is a combination of insatiable and Satan. Please keep in mind that some of the trivia is old and outdated. You should go to an archive page for more up-to-date information. Insation's very first concept I drew of her back in 2021, codenamed Beta Insation. Originally I was going to give her a more masculine build, with fur coming out of her shoulders and the chest being made of iron plating. She also had a tiny hole in her calves with red dots inside of them, but I wasn't really satisfied with how she looked. A doodle of my first Insation design by one of our concept artists. You can see that despite how much he changed, I did end up keeping her shackles, third eye, horns, and tail. Yeah. Another doodle of Beta Insation. This one was actually going to be finished as fan art, but I announced the redesign of her in the middle of the sketch, so the artist ended up redrawing her. Next image, okay. There we go. Promotional art used for Insation's music teaser, Glunisher. Originally the song was called Glunishment, but I felt it looked a little bit too long and was too cheesy, it being short for Glutton for Punishment. This was also the fan art that got changed mid-redesign from the previous sketch shown. Oh god, that's a lot on this page. Insation's redesign and current design today. While I was figuring out Insation's design, a mutual of mine opened up a redesign commission, so I gave them this to see how they would redesign her. Once I received the updated design, I fell in love and kept her like this ever since. Unaware. Silly doodle of how Insation would react if she was very hungry and there were no Crimstalkers, and no Crimstalkers were in the area to distract her. A cool what-if fan concept of a possible Insation Phase 2 from one of our animators, back when the Sins were originally going to have their own weeks. The team brainstormed ideas for second phases, this was one of them. Oh. Another what-if fan concept of a possible second phase for Insation. Interesting. A sketch doodle of Insation screaming feral during one of her hunger pangs. A sketch concept for Insation inside the fuzzy feeling during the song Heart Melter. I still don't know what the pink jelly substance in the sandwich she's eating is. Best not to question it, I guess. Oh no, why is she in the jar? I don't know if I should be disappointed at our concept artist drawing this in the first place, or our programmer for sneaking this into the gallery. Insation's first neutral portrait left, with a work in progress of a feral expression drawn by a different artist, right. I was originally going to have a neutral portrait be redrawn from scratch to fit the other expressions, but the artist decided to work off of it instead, and it turned out really well. Sketch concept for Fun-Size Sensation's one and only portrait. Again, if we had more time, these portraits would have gotten more expressions like Fun-Sized Retro, Ace, and Saku. Unfortunately, due to Fun-Sized Sins not having much presence in the main part of the mod, it never came to pass. Not mod-related, just a doodle of Insation in a swimsuit. The funny thing about these gallery notes is none of the team knows I'm writing here. So I could say a lot about Insation in this picture here. But I am a gentleman and will keep those thoughts to myself. But damn man, damn, why? Why aren't goats real, man? Why? It's not fucking fair. I just need a goatee in my life, bro. Fuck, man. Please, goddammit, man. I apologize. I had a moment of weakness there. Back to writing more notes. Okay, Retro. I get it. You want to fuck the goat. I get it. Same-faced concepts. They really went for a pile of bones. What are they gonna eat now? Who knows? He really did go off the deep end. Misposed concept of fun-size sensation that were used in the final version of her sprites. What is this? Not mod-related, just some doodles of Insation wearing clothes. I'm a big fan of her pose in the bottom right. That's canon, she can actually do that, I've just now decided. Great. Insation's first idle sketch concept for a neutral/idle pose. I like the idea of this pose a lot, but I'm happy with the one we chose instead. Sketch concept art for playable Insation Steph sprite. Concept for Insation's GF/companion skin. Originally, the flesh of the meat was colored blue because we wanted to avoid looking like she was just eating part of herself. But since Grimstalkers have the same color palette as Insation, we kept it red. But I want to go to McDemons! Sketch concept for Insation's directional sprite poses. When I commissioned these, I really wanted to capture her animalistic feral side. The concept artist nailed her personality, and the mic having a bite taken out of it was their idea, so kudos to them. Concept sketch for Insation's scream portrait. This was shown to emphasize how scary and dangerous she can be when she's hungry, and the voice actor did an amazing job channeling that energy into her voice as she was doing the dialogue. Sketch concept for fun-size Insation's Dev Sprite. You know what's even rarer than BF Dev Sprites? Optional/side story Dev Sprites. You're welcome. Insation's up sprite pose concept sketch. Similar to her screaming portrait, I wanted something for her when she does her screamos in both her songs. This was an idea we had for Zergtro, but got moved to Insation to really show her viciousness and loudness. Sketches for fun-size Insation's playable sprites. They were started by the artist that originally designed fun-size Saku/Izzy, but handed off to a different artist to sketch and animate since they got busy. I see. Lost. Find out. Okay, I see. So you've been through quite the journey there, have you, Kirill? Honestly, I can tell even Retro was losing steam in writing these at this rate. Just trying to have fun bullshitting around, because remembering he has to write 500 more concept descriptions, yeah, there is a lot in here. Almost too much, one might say. The very first concept was Veiled Woods, aka Insation Stage/area. I wanted a dead forest-like biome for her area, with void portals covering the entire place. This was around the time our original background artist got too busy to handle the rest of the background, so we hired some extra help, who would end up doing the rest of the backgrounds for part 2 and the IPU stages. I remember I also wanted floating buildings in the background, though I think the church was added on their own, not shown in this image. I thought it looked cool and fit the whole vibe of the area, so I stuck with it. The original sketched concept of Insation's area, partially inspired by Upside Down World from Stranger Things. I actually really liked this sketch a lot, and could see this being an alternative stage if we had the extra time/resources. sketch concept for Insation stained glass portrait in Usurious' stage. This was the only sketch made for the stained glass concept before we scrapped the idea. Shame. Shame it's only her. A very old concept for Insation's emblem. A lot of the Infernal Links had at least 2 to 3 concepts of their emblems changed throughout the years. Most of the final designs were made to fit a square aspect ratio for consistency. Scrapped icons for Insation's health bar. This really shows the melty mouth effect she has. So you have losing icon for Insation's health bar. This is the one that really shows the melting mouth effect, you mean? The official design for the Crimstalker creature seen in Insation's second song. I adopted this creature a few years ago because their color palette was very similar to Insation's, though I wasn't sure what I'd end up using it for until later into the mod's development. I see. Concept sketch for Insation's Void Nodes. When we designed the mechanics for these, I wanted something that felt like the player was being consumed, so we reused Insation's portals on her stomach as a node hazard when hit, and ended up being pretty happy with the results. Wrong is the time matching at your home. Alright. I really have so much reading to do. Sketch concept for Gluttony BF's poses. I wanted his personality to match Insation's feralness. The hot dog is a reference to some meme of BF with a chef hat holding one. I honestly don't know more about... I honestly don't know more of the context than that, but I wanted to include it because funny. Sketch concept for Gluttony BF's misposes. Gluttony GF V1's first concept. We wanted to give her a biker/punk look to her. Nice. I mean, hey, he's giving you the look. Gluttony GF V2's first concept. Same outfit but with longer hair. Gluttony BF's first idol sketch pose concept. He used to have a steak with a fork instead of it being a hot dog. Second idol concept sketch for Gluttony BF. Sketch concept for Gluttony BF's neutral portrait. And we made it to Greed! We can definitely finish the left side, I think. Definitely. In fact, we might be able to get Sloth done too, and that way we'll have all the sins done in one sitting. Hivemine's reference sheet. Hivemine is the second character I decided to design with the 7 Sins idea in mind. Once I finished Gluttony, I decided to design a character for Greed next. I wanted to go for a queen bee that hoards treasure and jewelry. She is loosely inspired by the Pokemon Vespiquen, and the bee queen from Don't Starve, and the hive queen Vespa from Hollow Knight. Her other form wasn't designed until much later. Keep in mind, the trivia on this reference sheet is very outdated, and you should refer to the archive page for the most up-to-date and accurate information. My very first concept of Hivemine, codenamed Beta Hivemine. You can definitely notice how Hollow Knight, the Hollow Knight inspiration with the bees here. The one with the knife would eventually become Terry. Oh, that's cute. I really like the neck fluff, so I wanted to add it to at least 3 of the 7 Sins, which ended up being RetroSpecter and Hivemine. Insation's redesign ended up accidentally becoming the 4th neck fluff. Before Hivemine's other design, Beta Hivemine was actually controlled by a gremlin-like mantis underneath a fake bee suit. She used the suit to mask her ugliness and lure money in with her beauty. I scrapped the idea, though, due to it being a bit too ambitious, and just settled on making her a straight-up queen bee. A piece of fan art of Beta Hivemine. Her mask was also intended to be a Jason-like hockey mask, but I felt that limited her expressions a bit, so I replaced it with her zigzag mouth instead. Alright. Concept of Beta Hive Mind for her week in the FNF mod. She got the furthest of any of the beta design characters before she ended up getting scrapped. Promo art for Hive Mind's teaser song, Sweet Talk. Her voice in the teaser is what's now used for her other form, Hiveless. People weren't happy about this, and I unfortunately had to keep quiet about why we changed her voice in Sweet Talk, since Hiveless form was a surprise / mod spoiler. Hive Mind's official redesign done by a friend. This was just a random piece of gift art I got one day after having Beta Hive Mind for a few days, and I liked it so much I asked if I could just straight up change the design to this instead. I really like the idea of her storing jewelry in her dress, although along with her worker bees that fly in there with the treasure. Before I gave her legs, she had a giant gem poking out the bottom of the dress that she rode like a horse. Interesting. More concept of Beta Hive Mind and the BLTs, this time with directional poses and her giant gem sticking out at the bottom of her dress, along with health bar icon concepts. Directional sprite pose concept for Hive Mind's other form, Hiveless. With Hiveless, I wanted her to appear more quick and energetic. Originally, she was going to have 4 hands, but replacing all of her pincers looked weird. Hive More had 2 gloves that looked even worse, so I decided to just do 2 lower claws for attack, 2 hands for stealing. Hiveless is meant to be quick like a ninja. She uses this form when she gets impatient, which also contributed to her raspier voice. Hands in the beta design feels so weird. It has the same energy as one of those faker characters, like it's going to turn into a spider or something. Yeah, I could see that. I can definitely see what you mean. Directional sprite pose concept for Hive More. Fun fact about these sprites: they were so large, about as large as Phase 3 Retro, that we had to downscale them immensely. To compensate for this, her line weight had to be adjusted. We also edited her eyelashes to be similar to Sakuroma. A concept from the same artist that redesigned Insation into what it is today. As much as I love this concept, I ended up sticking with the previous Hive Mind design. It's cool to see what else she could have looked like if I had gone with this design, though. Huh. Interesting. A concept / doodle of Hiveless Hive Mind's wearing clothes with her abdomen raised. In case you're wondering where her abdomen is during her Hive More form, it's still there, just smaller. It becomes larger when she changes form, since it's not constricted by her hive dress. Hive Mind GF's companion skin. I really like BLT's cleaning her up here. Very in character for everyone involved. One of my favorite companion skins, personally. Is Sprite in the mod, but the devs had to reduce it. Yeah, she was that greedy. Looks like those dolls, which never falls. Does it? Fun-size Hive Mind's dev concept sketch for a playable skin. Fun-size Hive Mind's portrait for side stories dialogue. Not mod or dev team related, another fan art that snuck its way into the gallery, but it looks so good and really shows how Hiveless would lurk in the shadows that I allowed it. Rough concept of Beta Hive Mind as GF companion skin. Hive Mind's first sketch portrait. She originally had 2 before this, but they were drawn by a different artist and that would mean her portraits would have had 3 different art styles, so I got one artist to redo the first 2, and the second artist finished the rest of the portraits. Sketch concept for playable Hive Mind's Death Sprite. Not mod-related, but similar to Sakuroma, this is a what-if concept of Hive Mind if she was a man, codenamed Hive Man. I see. A commission I got of Hive Mind after her redesign. A concept of Hive Mind's dress looks like underneath. This is my favorite concept and helps explain how her dress works like a cage dress, capable of storing large gems inside. While this was made as fan art, it's basically canon as to how she hoards treasure. Okay. Oh no, that's less than 1 cent less you made today. Thank you, Terry. It's a dramatic day today. Oh no, what a massive loss. A silly doodle drawn by one of our animators between tasks. Also canon. It's Barry, Larry, and Terry! A reference sheet for the BLTs. BLT is an acronym for Barry, Larry, and Terry. Yes, it was intentionally labeled in that order because of the sandwich BLT, bacon, lettuce, and tomato. Barry is the quiet, strict one that follows orders, Larry is the worried, constantly stressed about what to do next, and Terry is... Terry. One of the first concepts of Terry sprites in Drone Tone. This is one of the few concepts drawn way back in 2021 that was considered adding to part 2 if we ever had the time to. Thankfully we did, and this concept made it as an optional bonus song in the miscellaneous category. Terry is whatever he wants to be, yes. Concept sketch art for Terry before we decided to have the giant menacing shadow form for him. Cute but not deadly enough. Damn. B. A doodle shitpost of a different form for Terry when we were deciding what him having another form could be like. Teriyaki sauce, why? A doodle shitpost of Terry holding his world-famous teriyaki sauce. Teriyaki sauce is an emote we have in the Infernalized Discord server. You should definitely check it out at some point. It's a really awesome emote. Rough concept sketch of Terry's shadow form holding his microphone for Terry. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this was scrapped to make the shadow form appear a little more menacing and less silly. Terry's final sketch concept for his directional sprites. I always wanted to give Terry a menacing form. He always gave off that vibe/aura ever since I drew him with a knife during Hive Mind's beta form. It was always kind of an inside joke among the team that there was something more than meets the eye with Terry, so we pushed that idea into a song of its own. Or a Beerus even, yes. An older emblem design for the greed symbol before it was redesigned. Scrapped concept for Hive Mind's health bar icons. You can see this still has remnants of her old design because of her face in the losing icon. Scrapped concept for Hive Mind's health bar losing icon. Line art work in progress of Hive Mind's background for her week. When figuring out the interior, I wanted her to have a regal, Victorian-like architecture inside her fortress. Besides that, most of this was just drawn by the background artist vision themselves. So kudos to them, they did a great job. I especially love the asymmetry in this room, and it really feels almost like some sort of waiting lounge slash entrance. Terry gets 3 songs in the he needs more. Terry needs all the songs. Playable Terry? Playable Terry when? Sketch concept of the poster seen on the left side of the wall in Hive Mind stage. When designing the wanted posters for our patrons, I thought it'd be cool to have a debt board showing how much money each of the Infernalings owe Hive Mind. And that's a nice touch of world building to the scene. Sketch work in progress of Hive Mind stage background. The walls in the back were left empty on purpose to figure out how to draw the patrons' wanted posters. Unused portrait for Hive Mind's hiveless form. Unused portrait for Hive Mind's Hive More form. Greed BFs or BFs misposes. The money flying out when dying would have been a cool touch, but it would have been a lot to animate. Directional pose concept sketches for Greed BF. In case you're wondering why his idle sprite looks so similar to base game BF, it's because our concept artist drew him as a joke, and we liked it so much that he ended up just sort of staying like that. This is why he looks out of place compared to other BF skins. Also, his bees are named Beepity, Boopity, and Brappity. So he gets his own minions. Yay, look at her. Concept art of Greed, GF-V1's design outfit. Wanted to go for the bee stripes and tiara to symbolize royalty. Concept art sketch for Greed, GF-V2's design outfit. And a Trojan! Look at this dude. Atrocian's reference sheet. His name is a combination of atrocious and ocean. With Atrocian, I wanted him to have sort of a villain, be sort of a villain of the cast. While all the Infernalings are technically evil, their moral compasses are very completely. I think that R is one too many. I wanted Atrocian to be the lowest of the low of the 7 Infernalings. He was always designed with the intent to be crude, mischievous, and vile. I also wanted to be a bit chubbier. I also wanted a bit of a chubbier character, since I didn't really have any yet. And he was the 6th Infernaling to be designed out of the 7. Keep in mind, some of the survey is outdated. Refer to the archive page for the most up-to-date, accurate information. My very first concept art of Atrocian, he's based on anglerfish that use their light to lure and prey. He's also loosely based on the space pirates from Metroid Prime, Galissopod from Pokemon, and his fins are inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog. He used to have back spikes as well, but they were removed from his reference sheet as well as his sprites to simplify his design a little more. Fun fact, when I designed Atrocian, I did not know female anglerfish were the ones that use their light to lure and prey, so do with that information what you will. Atrocian's first attempt at his neutral portrait. While I was happy with it, the artist felt that they could do better, so they redid his neutral portrait. Promo art for Atrocian's song teaser on YouTube called Seasire in the mod, though it's not named that on the video. Art I commissioned of Atrocian, I really like how thick his neck is here, and whenever I get around to commissioning a new reference sheet, I definitely want to consider the proportions in this piece for him. While this isn't mod related, it's really an amazing art piece from 2024 made by one of our concept artists that shows how Atrocian swims around in the endless expanse. So I felt it was definitely worth showcasing and keeping here. Concept art of dehydrated Atrocian, basically what Atrocian would look like if he hasn't consumed any souls for a while. While this piece is mostly joke art, this can actually happen to him. However, there are always lost souls to consume swimming around the expanse, so this is something he seldomly has to worry about. More concept art sketches of Atrocian expressions. These really show how mischievous he can be while talking to others. A concept / what if of female Atrocian. Most Infernalings have some slight shapeshifting abilities to their bodies, while Sakuroma can do it best. This is about the extent of what the Infernalings can do with their bodies for a short amount of time. Azura's potions can prolong the effect, or alter their appearances even further, however. Because Azurius is just that amazing. An amazing concept of what could have been a Phase 2 Atrocian. This is just fan art, but I felt like it would have been criminal not to include this. While this isn't canon, this is something I'm definitely taking inspiration from whenever I design the second phases in my free time as a fun little side thing. Huh. What in the what? Similar to the female shaped Atrocian in the previous entry, this is the extent of what Phase 1 Infernalings can do with their body without potions for a short period of time. He can look like that if he chooses to. Okay then. Talking disappointed question, smart medicine. Okay. He's made a trans potion. Good for him, honestly, yeah. More sketch concept of atrocious expressions being worked on by our concept artist. Fan-made fan-outs or fan-made concept of atrocious directional poses. I like these so much that I asked if I could use some of these for his poses in the sprites. Sketch concept for Atrocian's idle sprite pose, with inspiration taken from the previous picture. So if that was Izzy, man, what? Izzy, man, would choose that to be his body for, in an instance? He probably would. No, he actually wouldn't, because Izurius already considers himself to be perfect, right? Sketch concept for Atrocian GF companions unlockable skin sprite. Sketch concept for Atrocian's Death Game Over sprite. Due to the angle of this idle pose, we couldn't figure out where to put his balls, so it looks like they're in his stomach. Sketch concept for fun size Atrocian's Death Game Over sprite. Concept art sketches for fun size Atrocian's poses. I want him to have a chibi, cute but deadly vibe to him with these. Alright. Concept art sketches for Atrocian's directional sprite poses. One of the hardest things for the sprite was having to animate the soul swimming around his stomach frame by frame style. This is partially the reason why Atrocian doesn't have any unique mid-song animation compared to the other Infernalings. The other reason is the songs were already done by the time I considered every Infernaling to have a possible mid-song unique sprite, so going back just to add a voice line would have ruined the flow of the song. For whatever reason, he would just grow abs for to fuck off, just to flex. Yeah, you know what? He could. And I would love to see it, actually. Shark. An adoptable character I got from one of the creators of the FNF- universe. I decided to name them Torrendous, Torrent and Horrendous, because that's the other name I was considering giving Atrocian before I decided on his name. I decided to make her Atrocian's biological sister, so he at least have someone to talk to other than himself. She hangs around sometimes, but usually goes and does her own thing. She's usually quiet too. There's always no space for the balls. If you have very massive ones, then sure. Another adoptable character I planned on using for the mod somehow, named Mercerous. While he is more of a gluttony/greed hybrid infern, there wasn't really a place to put him in either of those stories. So I decided to have him be Atrocian's brainwashed henchman for getting a bit close to the Emulous Expanse while searching for treasure. Mercerous has an entire backstory I wrote out a while ago, but I'm not sure if I'm 100% happy with it anymore. I may tweak it and show it again someday. An older scrap concept for Atrocian/Envy's emblem. Scrapped out for Atrocian's health bar icon. Scrapped out for Atrocian's health bar losing icon. A work in progress of Atrocian's background, also known as the Emulous Expanse. I have a bit of thalassophobia, fear of the deep ocean, so I really wanted to portray that vastness and darkness of the open ocean of the stage here. Sadly, we had to bunch everything together a bit in the final stage, so everything could fit. But I think it still looks really nice, loosely inspired by the Lost River in Subnautica and the Abyss in Soma. Concept art sketch for Torrendous' dialogue portrait. A fan-made concept of Atrocian based off of my first sketch of him. When I sketched Atrocian originally, he had no color, and I hadn't gotten around to figuring out a palette for him yet. as I was busy at the time, juggling mod development and remixes for my YouTube channel. A stream viewer saw my atrocious concept, and this was their attempt at coloring him and defining his features. I immediately fell in love and took this as an official canon design before I removed his back spikes. Alright. Official design concept for Envy Girlfriend V1. It just made sense to put her in a swimsuit since the Trojan space around water. Design concept sketch for Envy Girlfriend V2. A doodle of Envy GF and Envy BF chilling at the beach together. Wanted to go for a surfer boy / beach girl aesthetic with these two. Concept art, directional sprite sketches for Envy Boyfriend. Since the Trojan was evil, I wanted to be shown through this BF skin as well. Unfortunately, along with the other BF and GF skins, there wasn't really any time or place to utilize the skin properly in the story, like we did with RAF BF. Concept art sketches for Envy BF Miss sprites. First concept sketch of Envy BF. Alright, I know we just did 3 hours, but I think I'll do Sloth as well, just so we have all the sins wrapped up. And then we'll do whatever remains afterwards. Makes sense? I guess it does. Dozerik's official reference sheet. This was the final sin to be designed with the mod in mind. His name is a combination of Bulldozer and Zirconia. Inspirations for his design were Gengar from Pokemon, the Endoskeletons from Five Nights at Freddy's, and a little bit of the movie Iron Giant. Since the Infernaling roster already had so much blue and green, I ended up making him orange to fill out the color spectrum of it. I also wanted a mecha/robot character to mix up all the animalistic insect Infernalings there were. Keep in mind that his reference sheet is old, and some of the info may be outdated. Refer to Dozerik's archive page for the most up-to-date lore and information. From various parts of his body, tentacle cables, from into legs, usually crawls instead. My very first concept design for Dozerik. He was probably the least redesigned Infernaling of the 7 next to Sakuroma, which means they both have no beta designs. As far as male Infernalings go, he's probably one of my favorites. I could feel myself getting better with character designs in general once I reached him. Unfortunately, this would be the last character I designed in favor of switching to adopting designs from other artists. I'd like to get back into designing my own OCs again someday, but I have so many that it's a bit difficult to find the time. A sketch doodle of Dozerik from one of our animators on the dev team. Another sketch doodle of Dozerik from one of our concept artists on the team. He used to have oil constantly leaking out of his eyes, but I couldn't really figure out a lore reason for this, and it just looked like runny mascara, so I changed it to only happen when he's really sad. Promo art commissioned for Dozerik for his music teaser on YouTube, now called Slowstopper in the mod. This is the only song of the 5 new Infernaling opponents' second songs to have their teaser shown. The reason for this is because Slowstopper was originally fully meant to be the first song, but we thought it'd be a funny idea to have a song before that, Lullaby, where BF just sings to himself and Dozerik is too tired to care. A really cool doodle drawn by one of our sprite artists during development. I think this was a doodle where I decided that he'd have a little more of a flat face / mask than a round head, and also gave him bigger proportions. Whoops, messed up there. There we go. A scrapped, haha, get it, concept for fun-sized Dozerik's dev / game over sprite. There are two main reasons this was scrapped. The first is because there was a lot of detail in for an unlockable skin sprite, so I felt like it wouldn't be worth the time / money to spend on it. The second reason is because me and a couple of dev team members felt it was a bit extreme for his dev compared to the other fun-sized Infernaling devs. Alright. Concept art sketches for fun-sized Dozerik's directional sprite poses. Concept sketch of Dozerik's head cameo seen in Sakuroma stage. Originally he wasn't there, but since the inside of Sakuroma's bar is seen as the final area before the finale, I decided to include him last minute. This is also why Atrocian is technically there, just through brainwashing Mercurius instead, since he's not allowed to be in the fuzzy feeling. His head can come off and run on reserve energy for a bit, so he's fine. Okay, good. A sketch of Dozric GF's companion design. This one was a bit tricky to figure out due to Dozric's large size, so we hunched him over and tucked him away behind the speakers as much as we could. Rough concept for playable Dozric's Death/Game Over sprite. This shows he's all circuitry, no organs. Sorry, FNF fans. Dozric's first sprite concept. Originally, his sprite was fan-made, but I liked it so much we ended up using it and modifying it, changing the colors a bit, attaching the mic to his hand instead of him holding it, etc. We also made him much, much bigger. Old scrapped concept for Dozric's emblem. A silly doodle drawn by one of our artists of their Sloth OC with my Sloth OC in the Looney Tunes cat dog meme. Rough sketch concept for one of Dozric's health bar icons. Scrapped health bar icon for Dozric. Scrapped health bar losing icon for Dozric. We liked the fake angry eyebrow so much that we carried that over into the final one. Concept for Dozric in the mod before I decided on the lower half of his how the lower half of his body would work. Alright. Another personal favorite of mine. This lovable cat robot was used as a spokesperson for Dozric since he doesn't talk much. And as funny as that is, I felt it made for a difficult or bad storytelling, so we gave him a preppy, hyperactive robot assistant to help him around the place. The area is based off Sloth, though, so I had to figure out a way for her character to work. I balanced out her hyperness by her just randomly shutting off and staying off for random periods of time to better fit her sloth aesthetic. And she is adorable. A doodle of Regato in between mod tasks by one of our concept artists. Concepts of Regato freaking out about shutting down. I really wanted her emotions to cause panic until she just shuts off completely. Not mod related, but a cute piece of art, a cute art piece of Regato drawn by a fan for Art Fight. A sketch concept of Regato's neutral expression portrait. Alright, onto the background. Concept art of the junkyard above Common House Catacombs. The inspiration for this background was partially inspired by Scrap Brain Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog. Another concept art of the junkyard. Since the story had a factory, I wanted it to be shown in the background to remove some of the mountainous piles of junk to show it. The almost final version of Dozric's Junkyard. This and the nighttime variant got pretty far into development before I went, wait, why is there a sun and a moon? They're in hell. So we settled on just natural orange lighting for the first stage and removed the sun. A scrap nighttime variant of Dozric's stage. As mentioned previously, it made no sense for there to be a moon, so we got rid of it and added more smog to darken the area in the second song compared to the first song, to show players that a lot of time had passed in the area without needing a day-night cycle. Even when we are not having anything Sonic-related, Sonic somehow gets mentioned. Yeah, it's weird. You can't avoid it, ever. Well, that's a design. Concept art for Sloth GF V1's design, so she was just covered in metal straps before, not wearing any actual clothing underneath. Concept art for Sloth GF V2's design. This is one of the only GF skins to be vastly different from the V1 skins. The reason for this is because her and BF needed to turn into robots for the Sloth story section to work. Another reason is because Sloth GF V1 would have looked a bit awkward next to Sloth BF, who was designed first. Sloth BF skin concept sketch. Originally he was only going to be silver and blue, but we felt it wasn't enough, so we gave him yellow glowy bits here and there on his teeth/hat. Concept art for Sloth BF's Death. Based off of the blue screen of Death from you get from Windows errors. This was made before both those rig sprites, and I probably would have added circuitry lines to SlothBF's X-Ray in similar way if I had thought about it during the mod's development. It is Sloth though, so it fits. Fair enough. Sonic is BF's father. Miku's the mother. The thing about that is, wasn't Miku's kind of soft confirmed by the FNF devs to be boyfriend's sister? So the mother theory is out. Siblings, my man. I'd imagine the V1VF design is just her being so lazy to buy normal clothes to get her to actually advance. Yeah, here's a cool dress. Yeah, just take whatever. Concept art sketches for SlothBF's directional pose. When I commissioned these, I told the artist to be as lazy with the poses as possible. However, our sprite artist felt the sprites were a bit too lazy, so they modified the poses to a bit to give SlothBF different angles and a bit more lively idle animation. We did it! Okay, we're done with all the sins. That leaves categories of finale, IPU, death, miscellaneous, I think that's death at least, and whatever this is. Probably the remixes, right? But yeah. Okay, honestly, good progress. I think presumably next week we should be able to finish. Unless these 5 sections over here have the most lore out of everything. But yeah, we should be able to wrap it up next week, finally. Absolute insanity. Now how about we raid someone, huh? I think that's fair. I mean, why do I even say I think that's fair? We always do this. You know what? Here's a person we haven't raided in a while. Anyone remember Zach Plays? They're also playing FNF, so it makes sense to raid, right? Sure, let's go. Fun to watch, honestly, even if I do think some points there's a bit much quantity of stuff. Effort cannot be understated. There is a lot of effort put into it. I agree. But you can tell that eventually, like the further we got in, the more frequently it was just, this is what this is. This is what this is. Like, especially with like the health bar icons, eventually it just turned into health bar icon. This is the health bar icon concept. This is the losing health bar icon concept. Whereas initially there was a little bit more to the descriptions of that. But yeah, after a while I understand running out of steam. Running out of gas. Anyway, let's head on over. Everyone be nice. I hope I'll see you tomorrow. Because tomorrow we'll be playing Last Defense Academy again, which I'm so excited for. I am super duper ultra excited. So see you then, hopefully. Good night, everyone. Or a good day, whatever time it is. See you around. And if you're watching this after it's been uploaded to YouTube as a VOD, then your support has also been greatly appreciated. And you know what? If you want to catch me live in the future, you can check the video description down below. There's a link to my Twitch channel. I stream every single Friday for FNF. I also stream every Saturday, and I stream other days of the week too on a bit more of an irregular basis. In any event, thanks for swinging by, and you know what? Maybe I will see you around soon. No pressure. Until then, have a good one. Goodbye.